Hey y'all, happy Monday. I am just going to set my timer for, about 3-ish hours. Not as any guideline for anything in particular, but just as a guideline for when I might want to take a break if I get a little too into it. So we're starting with Mario Party 2, just a little bit, not a whole lot, probably not even an hour's worth. And then we'll move on to Metroid Fusion. Both will be played on the Wii U that you see on my console cam there. A Wii U that was gifted to me by a viewer back when I was bigger into YouTube. So let's get started. This is the first stream where I've fully set up my Stream Deck to be able to swap scenes and stuff like that. I don't do a lot of fancy stuff on my stream. I keep my stuff pretty simple. But it's nice having all these buttons here, so if someone does the Thomas the Tank Engine lore redemption, I just hit the button and boom, there we are. But we're going to go back. Now oh, here's a picture with, I just tweeted a picture a few minutes ago of what my, of what the Stream Deck looks like currently. Most of the buttons are custom ones I made. I mean, the Stream Deck is for my use, so the buttons probably have really cryptic, or I just enjoy how out of context, how bizarre it looks to have a control panel looking set of buttons that have the most obscure, weird symbols possible on a lot of them. Like an old TV, a picture of Thomas the Tank Engine, like an old VN screen from an old Warner Brothers film. But they all make sense to me. And that's all that really matters. So, let's get into it. We're going to play Trial Mode. It's a sort of quick play-ish mode. I hope there's something similar to this in Mario Party Superstars. Of course, the reason I'm playing this is to hype myself up for Superstars. So, only once playing. But, I might try the online stuff in Mario Party Superstars. We'll see what happens with that. As always with Mario Party games playing as Luigi, if Superstars gives me the option to play as either a Koopa Troopa or as a Blue Yoshi, I'll do that instead. Now, I'm very good at these games, so I'll give myself, 0. And I'll give everyone else 20 points to start with. Make myself have to climb the ranks. Actually, yeah, let's go with this. Yeah, let's go with 20. No, let's go with 10. No, let's go 0 for me, 10 for everyone else. Because, I don't know, we're only playing 10 turns, so 20 might be a little hard to recover from. Now, Toad is going to give us 10 coins at the start, which will effectively give us... I'll be starting with 10 coins, everyone else will be starting with 30, I think. So if they gave them 10 more extra coins of a handicap, they'd be starting with like 40. Which is not easy to recover from. Now, I'm going first. The board game element to this is really only used for randomizing which types of minigames will be played. So, there's no particular advantage of going first in terms of, like, getting to the star first or anything like that. Yeah, and you don't earn coins for landing on red and blue spaces in this either. I would love to see some kind of equivalent to this in Mario Party Superstars. Whether it's an actual recreation of this particular board, or if it's just a similarly themed sort of generic map, maybe with a track and field or athletics sort of theme to it. Yeah, the only real advantage to rolling higher numbers is being able to reach Toad, because only on this map will Toad gives you 10 coins just for reaching him. Now this minigame would be fun, but this minigame needs to take away the time limit. Now this is probably a lot better with no. This is probably a lot better with human players, because with human players, there's more... Just the way these algorithms work, I find myself getting into frequent stalemates in this, where Look at this. There we go. Yeah, I've found myself in about as often. I usually win at this, but as often as I've won, I've gotten into stalemates where I lose because it's a duel between me and one other character, and if there were 2 human players, it would be a lot more. And it's funny, now I've compensated for the initial handicap already, so because of that, all 4 of us are in first place at the moment. I don't know, there are only 2 battle squares on the entire map down at the bottom of that figure 8 arrangement, but just the way those 2 are, just where they happen to be placed, you get into a high frequency of battle minigames in this map. To the point where the battle minigames usually choose who's going to win or not. Now, this time I'm not going to lose. Last couple of times yesterday when I was playing this, I ended up, hey, yep, I'm back on the internet. Serial Wars, I don't know if you got to see this before, but there's a tweet I just put out a little while ago. It's a picture of my Stream Deck. It's not fully set up. I just filled up all the buttons with things that have actual genuine functions in them. There are other more practical things. I'm gonna swap them out, but I just love the look of having this dedicated control panel with all these obtuse and weird looking commands on it. Yes, I got myself a Stream Deck. It was one of the things I got along with this new machine. I was, like, when I first started, I got the cheapest computer I could find. It was a refurbished office PC. Pretty much the bottom of the I could play modern games at, like, the lowest settings possible. I got basically an entry-level PC for this, because I had no idea of knowing whether or not I'd even like... Man, I had no idea if I'd even like streaming or not, but I had to spend a bunch of money to even find out. So I went ahead and gave it a shot, and I liked it. And then so when my video card in my old PC failed, I was like, alright, I actually do like this, so I'll get a more capable computer. I'll actually get myself a Stream Deck and things like that. I've never got... This is still a bottom-of-the-line, like, Staples, like, cheapest available gaming chair, but... And it doesn't feel particularly more or less comfortable than my old gaming chair, but I've been able to do longer streams sitting in this without having to get up and do a stretch break. My old chair, I'd have to take a break every 2 hours typically. Hey, Serial Wars. Thanks for the sub. And as I was saying before, one of the things I was interested in was, what was I getting at? Oh yeah, no, part of, getting more streamers, I do want to get the, some emotes commissioned, some cool doorworm emotes, which will be nice. And like I said, if I could just temporarily turn off paid subscriptions, I would do so until I had the emotes ready. I didn't realize it would make them available and there would be no way for me to turn them off. Oops. No, that was just me using the D-pad instead of the analog stick. Because it's not an N64. Oh no, you failed. You failed, you two. No, it's not a good game to be running my mouth during. Yeah, so for now, I'm playing with the Wii U's Pro Controller. But when we move on to Metroid Fusion, I'm going to be playing with the Super NES Classic Edition controller, linked with the Wiimote, which is honestly, like, the fact that the NES Classic Edition and Super NES Classic Edition controllers plugged into the Wii Remote was, like, doubled the appeal of those systems to me. Like, I was thinking, like, from what I heard, the standalone NES Classic Edition controllers were hard to find, but I was like, I'll go and buy one of those extra controllers just to use it with my Virtual Console stuff on the Wii. And I didn't have the Wii U at the time. It's interesting that Nintendo decided to use that same connector, even as the Wii and Wii U family... Well, the Wii U family, which was still using the Wii accessories, was sort of, being retired and whatnot, because with the Switch they made a clean break where nothing was compatible anymore. For practical as well as marketing purposes. Just have a total break from all that association with the Wii. not go for the coin. Yes. Oh, man. Whoo! I won. It sucks they use that connector rather than be USB or Bluetooth. Well, the thing is, with USB, the reason I don't think they used USB is because with USB, with this, the thing about the Wii Remote Expansion Controller, like, hookup, is that, oh no, I actually experienced that, because originally, I was setting myself up to start playing Deltarune Chapter 2 before the Switch version got announced, and I was like, because with Deltarune Chapter 1, it took like 6 or 7 months for Chapter 2, for Chapter 1 to come out on Switch, after the PC version was released. So I was playing, so I played the Chapter 1 on Switch, and then, Chapter 2 got announced, and actually Chapter 2's surprise announcement is what was really got me to pull the trigger on getting my new gaming stuff and getting back into creating content. Because I wanted to do anyway, but that's like, alright, Deltarune Chapter 2's out, I can't avoid the spoilers forever, I just want to go ahead, get the Let's Play locked in so I could, you know, play, could browse the internet, you know, go on YouTube without getting spoilers, like, suggested to me, because they know I like YouTube videos. I don't have, I've watched Deltarune and Undertale related videos in the past, but then, the night before, like, when I filmed on YouTube, no, actually, I did it on Twitch. It was my, no, it wasn't Twitch, it was just a recorded live reaction on YouTube, and the day after the Nintendo Direct was the day I planned to start Deltarune, and that was the night that they just dropped, Switch, Deltarune Chapter 2. But when I was setting up, because this is the first time my computer could do a genuine dual screen setup, because the monitor I'm playing on, I could just swap that out for a second monitor for the PC, no problem now. And what I was thinking was, well, I set it up, I was ready to go, it was 100% ready for me to play the PC version, which sucks because I didn't play Deltarune Chapter 1 on PC, therefore there are certain advantages and benefits to having a chapter file with the completed Chapter 1 on it, but it's not at all necessary to play the game. Like, it'll just carry over certain little things you made, like it'll carry over your items, but it's not essential to enjoy or play the game at all. But when they announced that they would do a Switch version, I was almost disappointed, because I was ready to do Deltarune Chapter 2 on the PC, because it would have been my first modern PC game, and I've had a Xbox One gamepad for use with potential PC games since I started streaming back in May 2020. But what happened was it just never came about. And I even have the wireless adapter for it, and it's somewhere, it's a tiny little thing, I put it somewhere sensible, it's probably in one of the plastic bags I have with a bunch of cables and dongles and connectors in it. But I just plugged in the USB cable into my Windows 10 PC, into the Xbox One gamepad, and it just instantly connected. It was totally seamless. I was like, wow, PC gaming is a lot different than back, you know, on my IBM Value Point. You know, no PS2, it was all PS2 connections, there was no USB, obviously. I mean, if you had Serial with plug and play, that was a big deal. But no, I'm not going to lose the adapter, but the thing is, I play so close to where I'm sitting, the PC is at arm's length from me. So, playing with a wired connection isn't that big a deal to me anyway. I got the Xbox One controller because I got this stuff in like March or April of 2020. The Xbox Series X was a while away from even being announced, so. Yeah, it was the Xbox One controller. Now this minigame, I'm actually driving, so hopefully it's not as BS. The newer controller has an updated D-pad. I don't know, I'm not too picky with my D-pads. I've heard people say, like, talk about, like, I've heard people talk about the D-pad on the Wii, on the Switch Pro controller being one of the worst D-pads they ever used. And how could Nintendo, the creators of the D-pad, make a D-pad so bad? Man, Meanwhile, I bought the Pro Controller specifically to have a proper D-pad, and I always liked it just fine. But then again, I'm not a speed runner. I'm not a ultra hardcore gamer. And it's kind of crazy how the spectrum of gaming enthusiasm is, where I have this not at all, this rather costly rig to broadcast myself playing games live as a primary hobby. But I'm not a hardcore gamer. I don't even consider myself a hardcore gamer. And I don't think I need to be a hardcore gamer to validate my... Man, like the controls in this game, whether you're the... Okay, when you're driving, the controls feel bad. When you're shooting, the AI player is just ridiculous and just... Is your D-pad clicky, mechanical, or soft? I don't have the Xbox One pad near me. I put it away for now. Once Deltarune got announced for Switch, Deltarune Chapter 2 specifically, I went ahead and, actually, I could just put this, it just occurred to me, I could put my, Nintendo Hanafuda cards there, swap out Porygon 2, and have them, oh no, it's backwards, no, there we go. Yeah, for some reason, I forgot why, for some reason I just had my Nintendo Hanafuda cards going there, and I normally don't. Yeah, so I'm already in the lead, not by a huge lead. If I lose just one or two mini-games, or if I lose just a single... This is not the same chair I had at my old place. That chair I actually left for a housemate to use, you know, back at the old apartment, like, because I was just like, I can't fit this in my car. I don't feel like dismantling it. And it's not... I knew it wasn't a great chair anyway. It was an entry-level sort of gaming chair that I got at a warehouse club. It was the last one, and it was the floor model, so it was already assembled. I barely managed to fit it into my car. And so there's no way I'm fitting it into my car again. And all the stuff I need in order to bring. The new one, this new one is also a cheapo entry-level gaming chair. But I'm not having all the weird symptoms I was having where it's like, after an hour, I like couldn't feel my lips or couldn't taste anything, or I was having tingling in my legs and all this weird stuff where it's like, these are symptoms I should be having after 5 hours of inactivity, not after an hour. And so I was sitting on like a car, like cushion, like a seat that you put on a car seat for like long trips for driving. And I put had a back on it of the same sort of thing, that memory gel thing. And then at one point I had like a heated massaging cushion. I mean, that was nice regardless, but I needed that just to be, and even so, I still had to take like a 10-minute break every couple of hours, which I recognize is a fairly long break for someone who doesn't do streams that long. Oh, I just got unlucky. That's the first time in a very long time I lost that minigame. I don't know, the housemate was like, they were fine with that chair. I guess it was just a unique thing for me. Now when I first moved in where I'm at now, my new region, I had an older chair that was from a thrift shop. It was just a office chair, but it was like really old. Like the pleather was flaking off and getting all over my clothes and all over the carpet. And that's why I had that Pikachu like fleece throw rug thing over the back of it, just to protect from all the pleather flaking off. So when I got all this new gear, I got the new chair too. So like I said, only 3 turns left. This is just a little warm-up thing. We're not going to be playing this for an hour or anything. This will probably not even be 40 minutes in total. It's already taken longer just because of the way the stream goes and me, you know, holding on pause screens every once in a while and such like. Yeah. And honestly, it was... And then at the end, like, the right armrest, like, fell off. And I couldn't find my zip ties, because I wanted to zip tie the armrest back to it. It's like, you know what, just go ahead. Get the new chair. This is already a temporary chair to begin with. I'm glad I had it. It served its purpose. It's time to keep moving. Yeah, I'm not going to be streaming again until Wednesday. So, and after this coming week, I'm probably going to get back to a more normal streaming schedule. Ish. Yeah, more normal kind of schedule, maybe once or twice a week. What I was going to give a shot was entertainment. I know, like, yesterday was football day, and so, like, all the neighbors in this apartment were, like, banging on the floor and shouting, hooting, and hollering when their team won or lost or whatever, so... It's a blue snowball ice, if that's the name of it. Yeah, it's a blue snowball ice. Yeah, it's a really... It's one of those... It's a super entry-level mic that I got when I started all this. And the thing that... Oh, we got a battle minigame coming up. This will be serious. This could take me back into first place, potentially. But... Yeah, it's a blue snowball ice. Yeah, I don't care enough to know if, like, is the company blue? Is the company Snowball or whatever? But I remember when I first started using it, I was like, oh man, this mic is so terrible. I didn't realize what it's terrible. Oh, this is gonna be... I'm gonna have to focus for this. This is one of the worst minigames I could get for this. Yeah, actually I won. Wow. The time I was most worried, I won. So this is probably going to put me in first place. Yeah, I never used a gamer headset. I don't even play online games or anything like that. I mean, this has a little mic on it here. I never used it for anything. Yeah, it would... And I don't even know if it would fit over all my hair that well. And then, I don't know if... Okay. Oh, another one right off the bat. Yeah, I don't know if it would fit over my hair that well, and it's just lighter and not so heavy, and I already had it. I didn't have to go buy extra equipment. And this microphone I am using, the Blue Snowball Ice, yeah, I got it, and when I first used it, I was like, oh man, it sounds so bad. I was like shocked, like, oh, I should have bought a better mic. And then I realized, no, what's happening is I'm used to watching like professional streamers who have like absurdly good microphones that are like hundreds or thousands of dollars, whereas I just have a normal good microphone. And I was so self-conscious about it that I did all this virtual audio cable nonsense to try to make it sound smoother and better than it was. And I had all that going on my first stream, and maybe in 20-30 minutes into my first stream, all of a sudden it just all broke. And I remember a friend of mine who's a professional streamer was like, listen, turn off all that virtual audio cable stuff. The regular mic sounds fine. And I did, and I just been using the straight mic ever. No. Okay, there we go. I almost messed up bad at the last second. Oh my goodness! By 2 points. By 2 points, that's messed up. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was using these sort of hack things. Oh, make your microphone sound awesome, and it sounded better to me. Like in my head, it just sounded such a terrible. Another battle minigame already. It sounded just so bad to me because I'm used to listening to people who have like hundreds and thousands of mics that cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. Okay, pure chance, but it's actually fun because of the suspense factor. And you do have some more of a level of control than Day at the Races. I don't know what GPU I have in here. I really don't care. I just know it works. Yeah, I actually genuinely don't know. Probably NVIDIA. Can I check? Real quick.
Oh, no!
What? Yeah, it looks like I have an NVIDIA in there. Yeah, but I'm not worried about my mic options now. No, and actually, I had one of the other people who were watching my first stream. I have no idea what model it is. Let's see what it says. 50% chance. Nope, I'm out. It just, C24F390. I don't know how desirable that is. I just knew. I mean, my 2010 refurbished PC could restore could, like, do everything I needed it to do, so I knew any, like, relatively entry-level laptop that's marketed as a gaming laptop would be able to do everything I wanted. Like, some of the most sophisticated games I might ever play on here are, like, on my taskbar thing. Did I just give you, like, there was just a random mess of numbers that doesn't have anything to do with... Doggone. I feel like I lost control of the tank, like, suddenly. Alright, display. I don't see the listing for the graphics card under here, and I'm not really too worried about it anyway. Alright, last turn. You just gotta keep number 1, and you just have to have no insane catastrophes happen, and we won this. We can move on to Metroid Fusion. And it was really funny watching how many people who were, like, knew of the Metroid Prime games, but weren't super, like, into the lore and knew, like, that the Metroid Prime games and the Metroid games had a different, like, numbering system. So they're waiting for, oh, Metroid Prime 4, because I know that's the game everyone was waiting for, that they announced back in 2017 when they shouldn't have. But, you know, it shows, like, Metroid 5. I'm like, what? Metroid 5? They're skipping straight to 5? If I have a recent NVIDIA GPU, it'll let me support NVIDIA broadcast. Is there anything... I don't know, like, is there anything with that I need that isn't already being done right now? Because I'm really... like, I'm really not out for, like, any super sophisticated... like, getting the Stream Deck was probably, like, as most sophisticated as my setup will ever get, frankly. Or that I ever really cared about. Alright. Wow, I won that by a larger margin than usual. Well, the way I do my webcam, I'm not really worried about green screen. I know, like, if I did a lot of 16:9 games where you want to have, hey, a Clackaboy, happy Monday. I don't know if you saw this, but, no, we just in time. This is part of the reason I like to do, like, a warm-up game with something that's a little less... that's not the most important thing that I want to play. So it gives people time to show up and chat and whatever. And we won. So, not even, like, it was basically like a 20-minute game, which was pretty nice. Watch all the coins go into the bank. Yeah, like, if you're always playing 16:9 games, I can understand it being more of a priority to, take up as little space as possible, because I always play 4x3 games. I have plenty of space to move my webcam over the side, have the game box up there, and have my ticker on the bottom. What kind of disappoints me is that, like, the Undertale, like, the Toby Fox games are always in 4x3, and streamers and Let's Players on YouTube who normally do 16:9 games, they don't do anything creative with the extra space for the 4x3. They usually just have the game centered, and their webcam, even with green screens, is just slopped over a part of it. And it's like, do you realize this? Or they'll just move over something to the side and have their webcam take up the same amount of space as me. Like, just make your webcam full length if you're gonna... I don't know, it's just lack of creativity, maybe? But, it's not that those videos are bad or anything. So, I'm going to, be taking care of a couple of things. Switching the console real quick, switching over to the controller I'll be using. So, I will be back in a minute. And, hey, there we go, it worked. So, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Alright, almost ready. So I had to switch over the controller and check on things. But now, oh yeah, also I changed the title of the stream. Now, should I change over to, should I stream under Retro or under Metroid Fusion? Yeah, I'll just go ahead and stream under Metroid Fusion. It's been a while since I streamed under a specific game like that. But I think it's time. So, boom. Hey, there we go. It's cool being able to press a button with a picture of a Game Boy Advance on it and actually jump to Game Boy Advance, my Game Boy Advance layout. So, I'm just going to be turning down 29. Yeah, I turned down the game. Oh yeah, that's you know, I haven't tested the chat here. The chat is a little, it's a couple of layers down. But yeah, it's been a while since I've got to use. I haven't used the GBA layout since Game & Watch Gallery 4, which also means that I have not used the GBA layout since the Zeppelin history lesson streams. So I'll be playing this with the Super NES Classic Edition controller connected to the Wii Remote. It only occurred to me maybe 20 minutes before I started the stream that, hey, I could use my Super NES Classic Edition remote for this. So it's a good chance to whip it out and then get some use out of it. I have not played this game since 2003 or 4. Yeah, just turn the brightness all the way down and it'll be like we don't have a backlight too. Now, that sound. Now, my history of this game. This was the first Metroid game I played after. Oh, I played Super Metroid first. I got that Super Metroid in the lead up to Metroid Prime coming out. Then I got Metroid Prime, and then I didn't get Super Metroid until a little later. It was like my Game Boy Advance, my purple GBA, got water damaged, and the Game Boy Advance SP had been announced. And I imported a black Game Boy Advance SP from Japan. I pre-ordered the import, so I had it shipping like the day that it launched in Japan. And so I got the Game Boy Advance SP like before anyone in, like I was in high school back then. So, and I got it before anyone in North America who wasn't a super ultra hardcore gamer, which is not a whole lot of people in my school, even knew that the Game Boy Advance SP existed. So I went from having this dorky toy-like looking thing that sometimes got me made fun of on the bus to having this really sleek looking device. It's like, oh, what is that? Is that a new flip phone or whatever? You got the blue SP. Like all the SP colors were cool. The reason I went with the black one, in addition to the fact that I was already looking at getting a black Game Boy Advance. I was looking at getting a black Game Boy Advance, like the original model GBA, the black one, because it looks less toy-like than the black one. I mean, than the purple one that I had. But I got the purple one so it would match my GameCube anyway, so I sort of picked my own poison with that. Then yeah, I guess I'll just finish my backstory real quick with this before I get started, because there's some plot to get through. Now, yeah, so I got the Game Boy Advance, I pre-ordered it. My Game Boy Advance was water damaged, and you could barely see the screen. The screen was like dying. It was like flickering all the time. And so there was some kid in high school, he had Metroid Fusion, didn't want anymore, so I traded him Super Mario Advance 2, Super Mario World for Game Boy Advance, which I was done with. I already had the Super Nintendo game cartridge anyway. I traded him that, and I think like $10 or something, and he gave, and in exchange for Metroid Fusion. And my Game Boy Advance SP hadn't come yet. And so what I was doing is I would wait. Actually, I did play Game Boy. I played Metroid Fusion for like 5 minutes or something at a Cube Club event before Metroid Fusion even came out. Now, it's cool here is that I never really noticed this because I never saw it on such a big screen, but it has a layout here of the meteor in which the space station is constructed. Cube Club was a promotional event for GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and Panasonic products in the early GameCube GBA era. I had been assigned to watch over Biologics Research Station, so I once again found myself on the surface of SR-388. Yeah, if you look up Nintendo Cube Club, you'll probably hear some stuff about it. And I like how this here is almost like a glimpse of what it would have been like if they had remade Metroid 2 for the Game Boy Advance. It was there that I was attacked by a life form I had never encountered before. It was only later that I learned the identity of my attacker, the parasitic organism we now know as X. Unaware of my condition, I was returning to the station when disaster struck. Once the X had infested my central nervous system, I lost consciousness and my ship drifted into an asteroid belt. The screen I'm looking at, I'm just looking at a monitor. The layout is only in the broadcast software. Yeah, I'm just looking at I just have an Acer monitor sitting in front of me. Escape pod before impact. Biologics research vessel recovered it and transported me to the Galactic Federation HQ. I mean, honestly, I guess Galactic Federation HQ has a hospital in it. You'd think they would sooner... I mean, I guess if they consider her a high-value person, like a VIP, maybe they have, special medical facilities for, politicians and, leaders and stuff like that. However, during the journey, the X multiplied within me, corrupting large areas of my power suit. Which is interesting because then it came to light that the organic components of my parasuit had become so integrated with my system that it could not be removed while I was unconscious. Now, I always wondered with the wording of that, are they saying that the X parasite caused the organic components of her ship to, fuse with her body? Or that her suit just has biologic components to it, and, because she was unconscious, they could not eject the suit, remove the suit from her. Because kind of like with Iron Man, actually they kind of depict this for the modern Iron Man movies, the idea that Samus's suit sort of teleports over her. Large portions of my suit had to be surgically removed, dramatically altering my physical appearance. However, the X in my central nervous system were too embedded to be removed safely. I was given a minimal chance of survival. Then someone found a cure. They proposed using a Metroid cell to make an anti-X vaccine. It seemed that the Federation had managed to preserve a cell culture from the last infant Metroid from SR-388. The serum was prepared and injected without delay. The X parasites were immediately and completely destroyed. And, and it's interesting because this is before the concept of the Zero suit, in a sense. So, the idea I always had was that before, Metroid Zero Mission, the concept I had was that they sort of, took sort of Jaws of Life style bolt cutter things and, just ripped off pieces of her suit. And that what we're seeing here is perhaps, some of the biological components of her overall power suit combined with whatever undersuit she was wearing. And I was also kind of under the impression that she could no longer physically remove the suit, though that was, that idea was discredited and by the ending of this game itself. I skipped over some dialogue there, excuse me. Pondering this fact, I realize I owe the Metroid hatchling my life twice over. We will soon be arriving at the BSL research station. Yeah, this is a cool design for the space station. It's built into a meteor, so I guess there are these internal environments that are rotating, kind of like O'Neill cylinders. And so, like, the surface of the artificial environments are on the outer edge of the cylinder, and then on the outer ring of the meteor, they built it on the meteor. I guess that entire outer ring is rotating to make artificial gravity on its inner surface. The ship's computer has notified me of our approach to the Biologic Labs, or BSL research station. During my surgery, the research team sent the last batch of creatures we captured there, as well as the infected pieces of my parasuit. Regaining consciousness, I learned that an unexplained explosion rocked the station. For some reason, this awoke a nameless fear within my heart, and I am now being sent there to investigate. My mission on the BSL station will be overseen by my new ship's computer. Following the commands of this blunt computerized CO is something I have to bear, as it was a condition of my taking the ship. For someone who dislikes taking orders, this is the second time I found myself having to do so. It makes me recall my other CO. And unfortunately, at the time that was really fascinating, and then it ended us up with doggone other M, so... It's interesting how they chose not to make the ship look too much like Samus's new form. There's been an explosion in the quarantine bay. The bay currently stores capsules containing recent samples from SR-388, as well as parts of your suit infected by the X-parasites. The cause of the explosion is as yet unclear. Investigate the quarantine bay is here. Move quickly and quietly. You are still unable to use most of your latent abilities. Don't forget that, Samus. Stop at the navigation room on the way. Uplink from there. Is your objective clear? Yes. Now, go to the quarantine bay. And you know what, I wonder, because this is a much more, like, because of Samus's colorful outfit, like, it's, I know, like, I like the look of Samus, especially, like, the original, like, the basic fusion suit. It kind of makes Samus look like a predator hunting down the X, in a sense, as opposed to the more mechanical-looking, more robotic sort of look of the other one, especially with the barbs on the wrist, especially kind of like Mantis-like in a way. It's a little more biological, a little more, like I said, like a little more predatory almost. But I know this does have much brighter colors than Super Metroid did, even just looking at this one area. And I wonder if this was done specifically to counteract the darker screen on the GBA. Because I know the first Metroid, the first Castlevania game on GBA was critically acclaimed, but it was criticized for the graphics being hard to see even in direct sunlight on the original GBA screen. Because yeah, the original Game Boy Color, those both had unlit screens, but something about the GBA screen had this quality where it kind of absorbed the light shined onto it. And so the following Castlevania games on GBA, as I understand, were much brighter, and to compensate for people playing on the original GBA, but by then the SP had come out. So I wonder if this brighter color palette was made, because this wasn't a first-gen GBA game. This came out in 2002, so it was a little while into the GBA's lifespan. I wonder if that's part of the motivation for the color schemes and the palettes they chose. Biosigns are confirmed. Be careful. Now, I turned down the volume very slightly for this. I don't know, just, I think I got the volume good so that you could hear the music good, my voice good. The shots are a little loud. But, I mean, for me, I always play with my sound to minimal anyway. Now, I have not played this since 2004, and this is one of the cool GBA games that had, if you press, it had a sleep mode built into it. And before DS, any GBA game that had a sleep mode was really cool. It let you play the game in short bursts if you're on the bus or waiting for something, and then you had to move on. Now, I've always felt like Samus takes a lot more damage in this game to compensate for the fact that every single enemy gives her ammunition and health back. No, just gonna... Yeah, it's really nice playing this with the Super Nintendo controller. And I just kind of remembered that my console cam exists. I'm just checking out how it looks. Wow, the latency is not bad. It would be very hard to do, but I could theoretically play the game using the console cam gamepad screen there. But now navigation room. This is unfortunate news. The specimens brought back by the field team were infected by X parasites. The X can mimic its prey. Any specimen could have hosted it. Before the explosion, a security sensor scanned one. The gelatinous X parasites invade and rapidly reproduce, killing the host creature. They also absorb DNA and use it to mimic the host. You were almost killed by an X infection. Only the Metroid vaccine saved your life. It seems Metroids were the main predators of the X. That's why the vaccine worked so quickly and so well. But it has also changed your cellular makeup. You will never be infected by X again. In fact, you can now absorb any free-floating X parasites. Without a host... Now, any X parasites... Sorry, I read that as though it was a new sentence, and it wasn't. Without a host, merely by touching them. This will allow you to replenish health and restore weapons. You may also restore latent abilities this way, so pursue free X parasites whenever you possibly can. The animation on the little X parasite, close-up was really well animated. The station is home to many species, some violent ones. You must keep the X out of the breeding environments at all costs. This is vital, Samus. I'm already detecting massive biosigns in this region. The X are gathering. This may be our chance to exterminate them, but you're only at 10% battle capacity. Your chance of survival is extremely low. The Federation needs you alive and on duty, Samus. Is your objective clear? Now get going. I have released the lock on level 0 hatches. Look for the blinking hatches. And of course we now know, spoilers for... Actually, no, and the off chance that anyone is totally fresh on this game, I want to grab an image from a magazine from around the launch of the GBA. I know I don't have it on my new computer, but I know where I could grab it easily from my blog. Let's see. I do want to show this off. Do I? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Alright. This is some coverage of Metroid Fusion from a magazine back in, I guess, around 2000 when the GBA came out. I just want to... Okay. Image. Source. Do I have it already in here, though? I have to scroll through and carefully... Yeah, oh, I already have it in here. Alright, here we go. Now check this out. This is from, I think, Handheld Gaming Magazine, or from a third-party GBA-specific magazine. Potential games that they'd like to see on the GBA. I have to blow this up. I have to... There we go. A new Metroid is already on the way for Game Boy Advance, but what about the first 3 games? All 3 are fantastic, especially Super Metroid. Maybe if we're lucky, they'll cancel that Retroid crap for GameCube and focus on bringing the classics over to GBA. Mother Brain would be proud. I just want to, it's just easy to forget how much animosity there was toward Metroid Prime when it was and the fact that Retro was making it. Honestly, I think the fact that the whole blowout from the first reveal of Wind Waker kind of made people forget how much hatred there was for Metroid Prime until the game actually came out and impressed everybody. I mean, I know Tommy Tallarico didn't like the controls, but Tommy Tallarico, enough said. Now this track is so hype. I love this track so much. That motif, that motif right there, the dun 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 dun. It's such a mix of like trepidation and anxiousness, but also optimism, and so it just makes you really like hyped to. Now these guys here are kind of implied to have been human scientists that were killed by X-parasites. They're just kind of creepy. I have received news from HQ. They can support you with downloadable weapons data. Once you have this data, you will be able to use missiles. This will help against some enemies your beam can't hurt. Head to the data room for the download. The data room is here. Is your objective clear? Yes. With missiles, your chance of survival climbs to 20%. And I didn't notice this at the time, but like, I know maybe minor spoilers for those who aren't familiar with the story, but it's like your chance of survival climbs to 20%. Like, your chance of survival against what? Which makes me think that the Federation was aware of certain things already that they aren't telling Samus. That computer reminds me of a gruff Federation commanding officer I served under named Adam Malkovich. He called me lady on missions. From anyone else, it would have sounded sarcastic, but Adam made it sound dignified. Out of respect and with some irony, I named the computer after him. I mean, this was interesting at the time, and now that we have other M, it's like, ugh, Adam. Like, I don't want to hear about Adam. I hope they managed to write him correctly in Metroid Dread if he's involved at all, and I don't know, because... Okay, so navigation room. The data room is just ahead. I don't know if I actually had to do that to open the door. Data room. Missile data downloaded. Hold R and press B. I do like the idea that you could just download missiles. Yeah, they just... You know what? Well, actually, that's not as absurd. I was supposed to say, it's like, yeah, I just downloaded a gun, but now 3D printing is a thing. You know, you could actually download a gun, pretty much. But uh-oh, power outage. But my concept always was that these weapons, these missiles, are physical missiles that are being that are stored maybe within Samus's ship. And that the ammunition is actually... And that when Samus has them activated, it's teleporting the missile to her beam cannon. Like, her beam cannon has a small teleporter in it. And so when she fires the missile, it's actually launching out of her ship. And the energy that's, like, the ammunition is actually just the energy it needs to open the little teleport portal thing to be able to launch the missile remotely. Because that makes more sense than having these actual huge... physical rockets somehow within her arm cannon. Electrical interference has knocked out the elevators on the main deck. This may be related to the X. I'll work on it. As for you, try to find another way to the target. It's located here. I'm reading huge bio signs, so I hope your missiles work. To reload missiles, you could use a recharge room or absorb a special type of X-parasite. You'll see them. Try it out. Is your objective clear? Missiles are your only hope. Don't hesitate to use them. Now find a way to the target. Now, there we go. Yeah, I wonder... Yeah, we can already go in here. There's a recharge room. We don't need to use that yet. But there is a save room. We will save. And keep on moving. We'll just... Oh. No, we have to... Oh yeah, I have to Okay. So, it's bugging me that I might as well, since I have the opportunity to do so, fill in a couple of these map spaces. Just by, going up there, filling in a little more pink. Yeah, honestly, like... And, oh, I never finished that story, which is just as well. But at the time... So I was waiting for the... I already got the copy of Metroid Fusion. At what point in my life did I throw in the towel and ditch RF switches completely? It was a hard choice. I still have my RF switches. And one interesting thing I'll point out. Oh, okay. Yeah, we blow the... Yeah, I love this. I'm glad... there were chances I had to play this. I waited. Because it's, like, just enough that I'm familiar with the game in general. But, like, I am going to be sort of learning certain things... relearning certain things for the first time. And when I ditched RF switches... Well, really, RF switches... I never bothered using them. Like, when we got N64, which is the first home console we got that soon after the system came out. And I got them... We hooked it up to AV to a VCR, which was then plugged into an old TV that we had with, you know, I guess what they call nowadays called the Devil's Pitchforks, those wires you have to screw into the back of the TV. I think that's what they were using. Or it might have... Actually, there might have been another RF switch between the TV and... Well, the point is, I never learned about, like, RF switches and everything. I never started using that kind of stuff. Ooh. Until, you know, I got our first missile expansion already. Yeah. It was the... when I got my NES in 99 or 2... Oh, shucks. Yeah, it was 99 or 2000... when I got my NES, and we used an RF switch with that. And the cool thing about the RF switches, you haven't been able to use any part of Facebook for the past 4 hours. Well, I hope that there's nothing critical you need to be able to access on there. I don't use Facebook at all. I don't even have an account there, so it hasn't really affected me. I didn't even notice. On Twitter, I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook is down was trending. Oh, come on. You messed my shot up. There we go. There we go. Come out. Now, yeah, when I ditched RF switches... Well, I'll tell this part of the... Okay, first, I'll finish the story about... So I got my copy of Metroid Fusion. I'm waiting for my Game Boy Advance SP to arrive from Japan, and my Game Boy Advance's screen was dying from water damage, and so what I'd do is I'd play through the game repeatedly up until this first boss right here. But I wouldn't let myself play any further past that because I wanted to be able to enjoy most of it with, like, the beautiful new screen on the sleek and cool new GBA. Oh, the marketplace, is that kind of like Craigslist sort of thing where you could buy things if you need them? Like look for, you know, electronics or certain parts? Ooh. Yeah, this guy I think is also in Metroid 2, but I'm not particularly familiar with him. I wasted a missile there, so I'm gonna have to use my my regular beam cannon for the rest of this fight. Okay, so I was almost... So you have to hit this thing with missiles. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, I'd get up to this room, I'd collect that X, the core X that lets you... Alright, so I hope it's up soon so you could find whatever deals you need to get, or whatever shopping you like to do. And so I just play up to this section over and over, and I wouldn't play past it till I got the SP. Now for RF stuff, yeah, I would use it with NES, and because what I came to realize was that, oh, I could just go straight from the television. I press power on the system, and it just immediately interrupts the signal and puts on the game, which was awesome because I'm playing NES, Super NES, and I can just go ahead and if I just switch the system on, the game pops right up. It was really convenient. And it really wasn't until at some point I started... It was at the point where I had like at one point I had NES, Super NES, and I had NES, Super NES, and N64, and GameCube all hooked up with RF switches to the same TV. So it was really neat to be able to just turn any system on and just have it pop up instantly. But the problem was, like, it started getting a lot of interference and it was looking like snowy and crappy, and that's when I actually learned that, oh, RF switches aren't the ideal way to hook them up in terms of video picture quality, and that's when I got a AV splitter. Back when, I mean, when I got the AV splitter, like, that was like the most anything. I don't know if HDMI was even a thing yet. I just know, like, the component, like, was like a thing. That was like the more advanced way to hook up a system. So you had a super ancient TV from the 70s, looked like a piece of furniture, all it had was RF. Yeah, and you had a Mad Catz PS2 GameCube adapter, you swap between the PS2 and the GameCube. Now, it's funny, you know, the NES RF switch, Nintendo continued to produce that exact same RF switch up until the release of the Wii. Because, yeah, Nintendo was making that same RF switch, it was available for GameCube. No, it was originally made for NES, and then it was available, it just plugged straight, the RF switch plugged straight into NES and Super NES. For N64 and GameCube, there was an adapter that lets you plug the RF switch into, like, the proprietary Nintendo AV out that Nintendo used between the redesigned, they used from the Super Nintendo, then they used it on the redesigned NES, certain version of the redesigned NES, and then also on the N64 and GameCube. For Wii, they switched to a different standard that I guess let them do it in analog or digital more easily. HDMI 1.0 first released the December 9th, 2002. So, yeah, HDMI would have only been out for like a year at the time I got my AV out. Samus, it is as I feared. The breeding environments have been invaded by X-parasites. Sector 1, SRX, shows several abnormalities on biosensors. Sector 1 is a simulation of the SR-388 ecosystem. To get there, take the main elevator to the access shaft and use Elevator 1. Is your objective clear? Use the navigation room just inside for further briefing. I'm not sure, but I think that whoever allowed the X into the environment may also be linked to the earlier explosion. Okay, so we have to go to the left now. Oh, shucks. I did not. Yeah, I might as well use the recharge room. Yeah, this is the first larger game I've played in a while. On one hand, this game is made to be beaten in under 2 hours if you know what you're doing, but I never got anywhere close to that sort of time back in the day. I never seriously tried to speedrun this. Yeah, it's fascinating being so familiar with this game, but still being new, having to not being, like, knowing it like the back of my hand like how I used to. So let me check my map. So this is the Ridley room? Yes, that's the frozen, that's the Sub-Zero storage area, where for some reason the Federation is keeping Ridley's frozen corpse. Do you see fully autonomous cars becoming a thing in the next decade? Potentially. No, I'm not. I can't. I can see that, but I can't say for sure if that happens. I can't say for sure if the technology will actually be fully developed to a reasonable extent, or if the people who have interest in that technology emerging will just have so much influence that the technology will just be introduced in the mainstream, you know, by, like, basically, you know, legalized bribery to politicians and, you know, proving things before they're necessarily ready. Alright, I gotta check something. I just got to, Alright. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Everything's good. Or, yeah, it's good enough for now. Yeah, sorry, I just had to check on something real quick. Yeah, I don't necessarily... I remember the first time, like, I was just watching some YouTuber. Well, I don't even know if you'd call him a YouTuber, but it was a... I mean, to go into the cliches, it was a crypto bro, right? And, you know, just recommending which altcoins to invest in and this and that. And I'm like, how could he be... Like, he was in his car and he was moving, and I'm like, what's this? This guy's insane. How is he... Like, why would you film while driving like this? And I realized, oh, he's not driving the car. The computer's driving the car. Like, why is he taking his hands off the wheel? Why is he holding up his phone to show things? I'm like, yeah, he's just, like, filming... He's just on his phone and filming the video. Meanwhile, the car is just driving itself. And I'm like, okay, that's the kind of moment I realized, like, yeah... I know they've been talking about this stuff since the mid-90s, but, like, I'm like, yeah, it's really getting there at this point. And I know, like, I had, like, every week I buy a couple of packs of Pokemon cards. I have a lot more than these. I've been doing it for a couple of months, so I have a whole bunch. And the reason I saved them up like this is because I was thinking about when I came back to streaming. We'll talk once you start moving again. The main elevator leading to the access shaft has been severely damaged. It will be totally unusable for some time, unfortunately. Some unknown agent is at work. Something very powerful, certainly not human. I'll report when I know more. Now listen carefully. The X in Sector 1 have invaded the atmospheric stabilizers. They must want to alter the environment to their needs. They are already reproducing. Clear all 5 atmospheric stabilizers to stop them. Is your objective clear? Now get moving. Now, yeah, and what I was thinking was like, oh, I could do Pokemon, maybe do some card unpackings, you know, on stream, maybe when I come back, or do YouTube videos of it. And then I didn't realize it at the time, but a lot of those videos, particularly with Pokemon, like, people are going out buying entire stores worth of Pokemon cards so that, like, casual players that are just interested in the cards and the game can't get it. And to fit I don't want to stereotype people, but, like, the videos I've seen and the streams here on Twitch of people, like, unboxing, like, entire factory cases of Pokemon card booster packs, they're kind of fit the investment bro cliche, where they're just in it for the money. And it's like, okay, if you're buying precious metal futures or stonks, as the kids say these days, like, okay, fine. Or even, like, altcoins and stuff like that, which are, in a sense, you know, are sort of just glorified gambling currency, in a sense. You could argue whether or not it's a stable form of exchange or whatever. I'm not making but I'm not going to get into that now. But at least they're... Okay, but, like, the Pokemon cards, like, yeah, like, there's some unique standout cards, but it just sort of became a fad again, where people who are trying to get rich off of this and have huge audiences of people donating to them, and, like, audiences with, like, hundreds of people watching them unpack cards with, like, and I'm just like, this is not appealing to me. The only reason I'm buying cards myself is just to try to, I decided, like, about a month ago, about a month and a half ago, oh, it would be cool to have a binder, because I've been in and out of Pokemon cards since the 90s. But I thought, like, hey, it would be cool. Well, first off, I never had a binder full of cards. I was more just casually playing the game with friends. But I was like, hey, it would be cool to have a binder full of cards. Because having a binder, it looks cool to have a binder full of those cards, right? And I thought, wouldn't it be neat to have have a binder and have one card of each Pokemon? Not trying to get one of each issue or have a complete set, or I don't care about slabbed or graded cards, but just to have one card, one example of each Pokemon. Like, I have, like, several Pikachus, so for this binder, I choose the Pikachu that I like best, or if I have options where it's like, or if I happen to get more than one, I could choose the Pokemon or the version of the art that I think best sort of simplifies the attitude of that particular creature. And I just want to, it's hard to, like, half the time, if I go into Target, most of the time, I can't just go in and buy a couple of packs of cards. They'll be all sold out, and there are videos online of people having purchased, people buying, like, entire store supplies of Pokemon cards in front of other people who are, you know, also trying to get them. Like, because they're trying to get rich quick off it and be a big shot. And it's kind of like, it's just unfortunate. It's just kind of... But the thing is, people who are, you know, who are into Pokemon cards for that reason and care about, you know, having graded cards or getting the rarest of the rare, that's fine to me. I'm not against that. It's just like I guess the overall... it's complicated. But it's just made especially hilarious by the presence, and within this sort of little... Any YouTuber or anyone on Twitch is familiar with Pete Dorr and was there for the discovery of the entire, like, Gem Mint 10 phenomenon of that guy selling those graded Pokemon cards, you know, as at an extremely overpriced, extremely inflated price to people who wouldn't know any better. And even when I was a kid, I was, like, conscious more than most kids, more than really any normal kid, of, like, yeah, I was into Pokemon, but I was also aware that, yes, I'm being sold something here. Like, this is tailor-made to capture my attention and generate cash flow. So yes, I enjoyed the world and the show and the universe and all the creatures and everything, but I was also aware that, yeah, this is designed to generate cash flow at my expense. So, you know, you don't have to buy every single toy. You don't have to have every single rare card. I don't have to buy every single video game and toy. I actually had relatively little Pokemon merchandise from back in the day. Like, back in the day, I had relatively little of it. And the funny thing is, I think there's probably more Pokemon merchandise available in stores now than there was at the height of Pokemania, because I hear about people talk about, like, even in Twitch, like, people who might follow this stuff closer than some people just talk about Pokemon in the past tense as something that happened. And I'm like, nah, Pokemon's probably making... I mean, there's more merchandise out now than there was at the height of Pokemania. It's just that in the 90s, that kind of phenomenon was kind of unheard of, so it was more of an extraordinary thing. Whereas now I'm sure there's more Pokemon. There are more Pokemon t-shirts for adults now than there were Pokemon t-shirts made for children back in the day. Like, there were no Pokemon t-shirts. If there were Pokemon t-shirts, I would have got some. Like, as a kid, I would have asked my parents for some. Yeah, I forgot these, like, sort of points, these sort of spawn points where they're effectively infinite enemies spawning, because they're the ones in the background, and then they kind of re-emerge. Alright, 12. And we'll just get a couple more. Get a few more missiles, because we need the missiles. No, okay. Oh yeah, we can shoot it from up here. And exactly what the Pokemon Company wants. Now, like, I mean, when Kyle, TX500 was playing Pokemon Sword, this discussion came up a lot about, you know, is Game Freak mishandling the franchise or whatever? About people who were dissatisfied with Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, I was dissatisfied with it, what little I played of it. But on the other hand, Pokemon Legends Arceus, I'm going to give that a chance. And it's kind of funny, between Mario Party Superstars, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and then, yeah, Metroid Dread, Mario Party Superstars, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Those are three different modern video games I'll be playing. I want to stream in relatively short succession, whereas, I mean, the fact that in over a year of streaming, I only played a total of 30 different games kind of says a lot. I don't... Whenever a new game's introduced, it's kind of a big deal on my streams. It's the type that tends to go back to my favorites a lot. I do like the sense that this new agility that Samus has with climbing on things was enabled by the fact that her suit is now lighter and less bulky. So maybe she's more agile now. Damn, it got away. Okay. Yeah, 2 missile recharge X's that both got away. Played Shield for less than an hour, never played again. Yeah, I mean, it's such a shame because the thing is that the concept of the game of the UK as a region in the Pokemon world was something that was so promising that I had been looking forward to the potential of it for years. You know, I love the way they realized New York into the Pokemon world in Pokemon Black and White. I don't know, I've never been to France, but the way they or Hawaii, but the way they adapted those into the Pokemon world was cool. And when they did the Alola region and the Kalos region. But the thing is, like, those the DS and 3DS Pokemon games, actually, I feel like they used the DS to their full potential, right? And the DS and 3DS. But then when it came... But Pokemon Sword really felt like just the sheer lack of ambition. And where a lot of times it borderline felt like an up-res 3DS game. Like, disappointing animations, especially when Game Freak was using, oh, we have fewer Pokemon in this game. For the first time, we're not going to have all Pokemon available in a Pokemon game specifically so that... Oh, we're going to have to find another way out. Yeah, specifically so that we could have better animations on the Pokemon, only for the animations to be recycled from the 3DS games, both for Pokemon and for the human characters, which was extremely disappointing. Oh, shucks. Alright, so... So we're gonna have to figure out... Okay, there we go. There we go. That's what we want. Like, there's gotta be some other way out of here. Or... Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to shoot and then... Yeah, I played Pokemon Sword for, like, maybe 5 hours, and I didn't get that far because I was level grinding, and I really just lost interest after that. It was the second lowest game on my, my tier list. When I did that for the 100th stream special. Alright. Hey, save room. Nice. See, like, I like just being able to play, I don't know, like, I hope this melee counter stuff, they're trying to have more sophisticated, more advanced moves in these newer Metroid Dread, I hope that doesn't make it so I can't enjoy it like I'm enjoying this right now. Because when they tried to do those melee moves and special attacks in Metroid Other M, it was one of the things about it that I seriously didn't like in terms of gameplay. Sitting on the floor of your closet where it belongs. Okay, I forgot that was there, and I was honestly like, why on earth would there be a Chozo statue on board a space station? And this implies that they are... And this implies that the Chozo statues have biological elements to them. I forgot what this gives you. Charge beam ability recovered. Press and hold B to charge. Yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Oh yeah, this feels so good with the... Yeah, this feels great with the Super Nintendo gamepad. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's like there's got to be something hidden somewhere around here. Okay, and here's the next, I also said the next air conditioner, but that's literally what it is, even if it's not... I mean, yes, it's an environmental stabilizer, but isn't that not what an air conditioner is? Okay. Okay. No, that's just me fumbling around as I try to get used to the controls again. Okay, I need to find... Oh wait, do I have to use the charge beam here? Okay, I forgot. I'll have to figure out what to do here. Okay, okay, I got it. Atmospheric stabilizer online, 1 malfunctioning unit remaining. Come on. No, no, no. Give me that missile. Give me that missile. No, no. Come on. Yeah, because it was a green one when I went into that creature, it should have been, it's still been a green one when it came back out, but... Because I did want my missile recharge. Save room. Save data, yes. Save complete. Yeah, sometime, like in the far future, I might go back to Pokemon X, Pokemon Sword or Shield or whatever I got, just to casually just sort of laugh at. I'll play it after Arceus. Hold on. Yeah, after Pokemon Legends Arceus, I'll play that. I need to go up and to the right. Now, this is one thing. It would be cool if this was a dual-screen game, like a Nintendo DS game, just so I could have a full-screen map. That really does make having a full-screen map. Yeah, the dual screens, you could say it's a gimmick, but if it wasn't valuable in some way, that the DS concept wouldn't have lasted from 2004 up until 2020. Arguably 2019, I think was the last year like Nintendo released any games for it. The 3DS. There we go. There we go. This should be the last one. Oh shoot! It's a fall away. A fall away floor. Was not expecting that. And all stabilizers online. Atmospheric levels equalized. Those are really effective stabilizers if they could fix the atmosphere inside this section of the colony that quickly. And yeah, okay. Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. And I know I talk... oh, and see, I found that. I didn't know that was there. Do I need to... Yeah, looks like I may need the bombs to get any further through there, but that's a cool hidden path we will have to come back to once we have the Morph Ball bombs. Back to the beginning of this area. I think we do come back here later. Like, I remember in broad strokes the game, but I am kind of... there's certain aspects to it I am kind of being surprised by and will be, like, kind of remembering. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, or oh yeah, that's what this puzzle was. Now let's... You know, there's... No, I'm not powerful enough to open that door yet. Yeah, there's some things in some of my fiction that they're very different from the X-Parasites, but now that I'm thinking of it, they might be very slightly inspired by them. Okay, there's some hidden doors over there. We'll get back to those when we have better weapons. Did you ever play any GTA game for DS or GBA? I never played Grand Theft Auto Advance. I do remember at the time how Rockstar was like, the map for Liberty City on Grand GTA Advance is even bigger than the map on Grand Theft Auto 3. They're really trying to push, like, please take this seriously. This is a serious, like, Grand Theft Auto game. It's worth playing. It's not just a rinky-dink, like, kiddie version of Grand Theft Auto. And Chinatown Wars had a lot of... I just remember conceptually it used the DS... different aspects of the DS in a lot of cool ways, but I never played Chinatown Wars. What is it? Well, in a sense, but because it's not that hard because it's easier to make a larger, like you're pushing, yeah, like the PS2 is more powerful. It can make, but making this big free roaming 3D environment, they're probably constrained by how big they can make it. So when you have a 2D sprite based game, you can make an even bigger map. You played a ROM hack of the GBA version that actually made it first-person POV. That sounds fascinating. Atmospheric stabilizers online. And then they tried to do the same thing with Chinatown Wars, so that they were, like, really pushing, like take this seriously. This is a full-fledged, like, we're making a serious Grand Theft Auto game for the handhelds, you know. But the GTA the quote hardcore gamers who actually are more, I think, casual than hardcore, who just play like GTA, like a handful of the typical games, some first-person shooters, some Madden, GTA, and the like. The same sort of the people who make a lot of the same people who make GTA games such a mainstream hit on the home consoles are the same people who will look at something like Chinatown Wars, and I saw myself saying, like, oh, that looks like crap. Why would anyone waste their time with this? That's not even a real video game. Like why is Rockstar even bothering wasting their time with this Nintendo crap? Yeah, they ended up releasing it on other platforms later. But it's just the fact that it was a top-down GTA game when they're used to the more free-roaming style, I think put a lot of people off of it, that it was more styled like GTA 1 and 2. And then on top of... And what got me is that when the 3DS came out, because I liked Grand Theft Auto 3, that's the only free-roaming GTA game I played personally. I played Grand Theft Auto 3 on PS2. I didn't really play the game. I watched my friend play through the missions. I just go around, use the code to summon the tank, and just go around causing mayhem and having fun that way. But with GTA... When the 3DS came out, it's like, okay, finally, a Nintendo handheld that could handle, like, more powerful than the PSP, and the PSP could handle a fully 3D GTA game. And now you have a powerful Nintendo handheld that could handle a proper GTA game, and Rockstar never goes for it, and it's a shame. But many X have already made it to other sectors, it seems. In particular, Sector 2, TR0, the tropical TRO for tropical. The tropical habitat shows abnormalities. I suspect the X have entered this sector with the help of our unseen saboteur. He or it may be in TRO now. Samus, get over there. We need to put an end to this. Is your objective clear? Start moving. I'll brief you at the TRO navigation room. Alright, we'll keep on moving. Yeah, they released Chinatown Wars on PSP and on mobile, and I think they did on Vita as well. As I listened to the briefing, my thoughts turned to Adam. The real Adam understood me well. He would end orders by saying, "Any objections, lady?" I knew he wouldn't disagree. He knew I wouldn't disagree. That was just his way of noting our trust. I wonder if I can trust this computer, too. Yeah, this is the Metroid game that kind of established the whole thing of the idea of the Galactic Federation being, like, corruption within the Federation, secret experimentation, and weapons development projects that they want to keep secret from the people, and Samus being involved in finding herself in the middle of these conspiracies and cover-ups. It was cool here. By Other M, they kind of didn't handle it that well in Other M. I'm interested to see how the approach to the game, the approach to the Federation and the concept of Metroid Dread, which I'm still pretty much spoiler-free on. I have learned the identity of our mystery saboteur. Samus, it is an X mimicking you, the SAX. I have named it the SAX. I believe this SAX came from the capsule containing your infected suit parts. It used a power bomb to escape the quarantine bay. That explosion breached the capsules containing all the X that started this disaster. But the SAX is definitely your biggest worry right now. Now that line right there, and this is the first time I played this since Other M, and it's like, yeah, this is kind of the beginning of the game sort of noting the extreme danger of the power bombs, and of all the weird plot choices they made for Other M, I think the idea of placing emphasis on how dangerous the power bombs are to other people around you wasn't a bad idea. And they even established at the beginning when Samus is doing her weapons calibration thing on board in the Galactic Station, where the people observing the test put up like blast barriers before she tests the power bombs. You never played a Metroid game outside of Prime Hunters. Yeah, Prime Hunters was amazing just because it was amazing to see a first-person shooter with that graphic caliber on a handheld. I mean, when they first revealed Metroid Prime Hunters at E3 2004, that was like, wow. Like, and this is before Metroid Prime 2 even came out. So to go from Metroid Fusion, I mean, I'm playing it right now, so obviously no disrespect, but to go from Metroid Fusion to a fully 3D Metroid Prime game on a handheld, controlled with touch controls, that was like amazing. You play that game online. You played that game online. Only never played the campaign. Honestly, you played the best part of it. The campaign is mostly taking a bunch of arena maps and trying to add a story context to them. Where the same boss repeated over and over. It was not very impressive. I did play Metroid Prime Hunters online with friends and even used the voice chat, which was really cool. If you see the SAX, just run. Don't even think about fighting. You are still very vulnerable to cold and unexpected side effects of the Metroid vaccine. Like Metroids, you can be frozen by an ice beam. Of course, the SAX is armed with the ice beam, so stay alert. If you see it, just run. HQ says that they have bomb data ready in the data room. Bombs will help you find a way out if the SAX traps you. The data room is here, but it's sealed by a level 1 hatch. You'll have to find the security room and release the level 1 locks. But per safety protocols, it is not marked on the map. It's cool that there's like an in-universe reason not to have the security room like denotated on the map. That's actually kind of like, there are little things like that that they could have put into Metroid Other M that would have made some of the more controversial elements of the storyline make more sense. But for safety protocols, it's not marked on the map. You'll have to find it on your own somehow, Samus. So first, find the security room and unlock level 1 hatches that go to the data room and get that bomb data. Is your objective clear? Keep an eye out for the SAX. Yeah, like, I think originally I read that originally they were intending to do a more traditional first-person Metroid Prime campaign. I really like that early Wii and DS Nintendo era when they were bold enough to release online games left and right. You know, it's kind of funny because I remember, like, early on in the DS's lifespan, I felt like so much of my DS experiences were online. DS was my first real online gaming experience myself, with Mario Kart DS and Metroid Prime Hunters. But I remember before they actually announced Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, when they announced the DS, they announced that yes, it would be Wi-Fi compatible, but they didn't give any details on online gameplay. So people could not assume that Nintendo would actually follow. Oh shucks, you couldn't assume that Nintendo was actually going to follow through with that and have online games. All right, we're gonna have to. All right, can I use the charge beam on it? Okay, I can jump over it. Oh, not quite. How do I get out of this? Okay, I'll have to... See, this is the wonders of not having played a game for decades. Well, nearly 2 decades. I'll turn the volume up a little bit. Yeah, I forgot about the music in this section. It's pretty cool music. All the music here is cool, but I remember, like, the first Super Bowl after the launch of DS, there was, yeah, so it must have been Super Bowl 2005, before they announced Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. On the official Nintendo Insider forums, yeah, Nintendo released a USB Wi-Fi device for people who did not have Wi-Fi compatible routers at home. I almost got that. Instead, I got a cheap, like, refurbished, a cheap refurbished wireless router from, I think, from Amazon, and I think I got it from Amazon not long after they first started selling things other than books, when it started to become a general merchandise site. And I got that router specifically for Mario Kart DS. And it was like Super Bowl 2005, so it was not long after the DS was announced. Somehow a rumor started on the official Nintendo Insider forums that... Okay, so that's the data room, so now we know where that's at. That little USB Wi-Fi device was very poor. Wow, so I'm glad I got that router. Because I couldn't find it online, and it's like I could just get a router cheaper that will work for it, so I just got it. Yeah, so the first Super Bowl after the DS was announced, what happened was, after the first Super Bowl after the DS came out, so Super Bowl 2005, Like, there was a rumor that started on the Nintendo Insider forums, which is like the official NOA forums, by the way. Like, Nintendo used to have official forums where people could just casually discuss Nintendo and video games. And somehow a rumor was spread that Nintendo was going to have like a Super Bowl commercial, and they were going to surprise announce that they'd have a remake of GoldenEye 007 for the DS that would be online. So it'd be the surprise announcement both of GoldenEye DS and Nintendo's online service for DS. And then there was also, before Nintendo Wi-Fi Connection was announced, some people from like Warp Pipe Industries, who was the fan project that started, that was doing the fan-made online stuff for the GameCube. Through, they could have any LAN-enabled like local multiplayer game where you could link up multiple GameCubes through a LAN connection. There was a tunneling service, I guess. Oh, security room. There was a tunneling service that let you play those games online. Nintendo even had a N64 port for Virtual, a GoldenEye 64 port for Virtual Boy being worked on at some point. I'd love to hear more about that, because, yeah, I guess actually, yeah, the actual GoldenEye movie came out early enough that theoretically some parts of development could have overlapped with the lifespan of the Virtual Boy. Yeah, but this GoldenEye DS thing, that was just a total rumor some kid probably started. Or probably some older teen started so that the kids on the forum would fall for it. And people were really upset when that turned out to be fake. But then Warp Pipe Industries also started a... Actually, I just realized the chat window only has the bottom row. Can I... The Xbox 360 remake that got canned? Okay, there we go. That's more like it. There, now it'll be more. So let's look at... Yeah, so we went through... So we unlocked the level 1 hatches. So all the blue hatches are accessible now. And there's something in here, I don't know what. Yeah, the people from Warp Pipe Industries started like this viral campaign teasing a service that they were going to make for Nintendo DS called Demasked, which never went anywhere. But at the time, like, Demasked was causing, well, the fake Halo DS game, apparently there was a point in which that was genuinely being worked on, but it just sort of just never materialized. As I understand it, at some point that was legitimately being worked on. Now that may have coincided or not with certain rumors about a Halo DS game, because sometimes things can be rumored, and then coincidental to that rumor, there are actually negotiations going on to potentially make the game. Were you able to source a ROM for the fake Halo game and try it back then? Yeah, there was this online service called Demasked, and they're really mysterious about it, and there were these cryptic images that you had to decode, and it became kind of a sensation within the Nintendo community for the brief while. But then once Nintendo, because I guess the assumption was that Nintendo, yeah, it was like the Nintendo GameCube, where, yeah, there was a modem for it, but, like, barely used it for any serious purposes. Where I guess they were afraid Nintendo was never going to actually take the DS online via Wi-Fi themselves. So Warp Pipe was going to work on a service that third-party games could use. You don't think the prototype was officially backed? Well, I think they made the prototype, like, I think the prototype was wasn't it being worked on and then presented as a potential official project? Because sometimes, like, there's a PC DOS build of Super Mario Bros. 3 that id Software made. But, like, so you could say it's fake, but the thing is they made that specifically because they actually got an appointment with people at Nintendo of America to propose actually making the game. And apparently Nintendo was genuinely impressed with it, but turned them down. And so they used that engine to make Commander Keen instead. Because it's easy to forget now, there was a while where, in a lot of ways, PC gaming was far less advanced than home console gaming, at least in North America, the way the technology markets were trending. And getting smooth, side-scrolling action going on a PC was kind of a big deal and made the Commander Keen games uniquely appealing. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't like a hoax that was made. It was something that was made, like, to explore the potential of actually, like, getting, pursuing this as a official project. Okay, so we could morph ball bomb jump now. Yeah, Samus takes a lot of damage in this, which makes sense because her suit is less bulky, maybe it has less armor on it. But that sort of balances the fact that every enemy basically gives you energy. So there was the GoldenEye DS scandal, and then, or the GoldenEye DS Super Bowl scandal. And there were a lot of fake rumors and weird scandals with people claiming to be leakers, and it turns out to be a hoax. And then I remember after Mario Kart, well, Mario Kart DS was announced alongside the DS, but I would think it was Game Developer Conference 2005 was the first time we really saw any Mario Kart DS gameplay until E3, and people were asking Satoru Iwata in interviews, like, oh, will Mario Kart DS have, like, online gameplay? And what he was saying at the time was, well, we have multiplayer local wireless gameplay, and we think that's good enough, is pretty much what he was saying. And so it really sounded as though Mario Kart DS would not have any, like, online gameplay element to it, or any Wi-Fi, like, online options. And I remember people who were upset at this in the insider forums. Then you had, like apologists, like Nintendo fanboys being like, oh, well, Mario Kart, like, it's meant to be played with your friends locally, and online gaming isn't that important anyway, and, you know, it's just a gimmick that, you know, and because Nintendo, like, Mario Kart's always meant to be played in person, and that's what makes Nintendo better than PlayStation and Xbox. And then at E3 2005, when Nintendo Wi-Fi connection was announced, and Mario Kart DS was announced to have Wi-Fi, multiplayer online gameplay, some of those same people were like, oh, this is awesome, like, eat it, Sony, like, DS is awesome. So I remember checking the internet daily around 2000 for any info you could find on Project Dolphin. One of the first times, I think the first time I heard about Dolphin was in an EGM in, like, 99. And it was at the point where the movie rights, like, the rights for different aspects of the Harry Potter franchise were still up for grabs. And the rumor, like, and it was being rumored in EGM's, like, game rumor section. And the way it was described wasn't that Nintendo was negotiating the rights for, because we now know that Nintendo was negotiating with J.K. Rowling to have the rights to make the Harry Potter video games. And how the rumor was phrased is that Harry Potter games are being negotiated, and the potential platform is Dolphin. Oh, wow, cool. All right, I knew there had to be something around there. But we now know the extent that Nintendo was actually negotiating to have the exclusive video game rights to the Harry Potter games. And because how it ended up happening is that Warner Brothers basically bought it all. I think Warner Brothers owns everything related to Harry Potter, except for, like, the actual books themselves, I think. And even they own, like, I think even the logos and stuff used in the North America, like, in the, like, the typical Harry Potter logos. To the point where, when they did the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child novels, they could not use any imagery from the Harry Potter Warner Brothers films. And so, like, the idea was that, like, that Cursed Child was kind of a sequel to the books instead of a sequel to the films, if that makes sense. And then, like, a year or two ago, they had they signed the deals to actually be able to use the Harry Potter imagery from the Warner Brothers movies and stuff in promotion. Like, you'd actually use the Harry Potter logo to promote Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Because if you look at Harry Potter and the Cursed Child stuff from earlier on, they don't use the official Harry Potter logo or anything like that. They use, like, a different, like, logo. And they had to work out the deal separately to be able to use the Cursed Child stuff. They had to basically license it or get permission from Warner Brothers to use the Harry Potter logo and imagery from the films to promote the play. But Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, I think, is a disappointing, disastrous mess anyway. So, we won't get into that. I read they were making Cursed Child into a film. I mean, there's too much money to be made. They're eventually going to do it. Now, anyone who enjoyed Cursed Child, I envy you. I'm glad you did. I personally think it was a huge missed opportunity and just a confusing mess of a story. The Fantastic Beast movies. You know, like, the Fantastic Beast movies, like, the first one I liked. The first one was good. There was some some elements where I'm like, why did they put this in the movie? But the fan service was kept relatively tame. Like, I felt it was a good standalone movie. They want to do sequels to it, fine. But then, like, the second movie was like, The Crimes of Grindelwald was like, yeah, it was a cool movie to look at, but there was so much weird, confusing stuff in that movie that it's like, if I were to go online, and spoil saying anything, and I mean, I guess this is true of anything. If you don't say what you're feeling, there's no chance of you getting anyone upset. And then there were just lots of weird things going on into it, just weird. I remember there was one point where I think some official Harry Potter related account said like, oh, you know, did you know that before plumbing was invented, that the students and staff at Hogwarts would relieve themselves wherever they were at and then vanish away the evidence using magic. And it's like, I don't want to... That doesn't make sense, and why would you think about that? Like, who wants to think about that in the context of the Harry Potter world? So that was kind of the beginning of just lots of weird missteps with the handling of Harry Potter itself, just in terms of some of the material that was being released, or like the Cursed Child got a mixed response, then Crimes of Grindelwald got a mixed response, even though the movie itself was cool. And then there's the whole, I mean, I don't want to open up another can of worms, but the whole thing about the casting of Johnny Depp and people taking sides on that, and it's just like man, I'm glad, at least, if nothing else, I'm glad they stuck the landing with the Harry Potter movies and the books and ended those on a good note. I mean, the main, like book adaptation Harry Potter movies. So anything that comes after that, you could feel... If anyone enjoys that, good for them. Like, I've always... And as far as the park goes, I've always had mixed feelings about... Well, I guess I could use the charge beam now. How do I know? Oh, I wasted my last missile. So I guess I'm going to have to use the charge beam on these. Alright. Yeah, I wasted a lot of missiles. Just, like, I guess I was panicking a bit and just sort of forgot the controls on here. Because it is also true that on using a Super NES pad with this means that there are a couple of extra face buttons. I mean, they're just replications of other functions of they're just repeats of the A and B button anyway. But on a GBA, you know, there are only 2 buttons. Oh man, you have to be really specific in order to hit this guy correctly. Yeah, I think when this game came out on the 3DS as part of the Ambassador program, and I even forgot I did this, I might have played through Sector 0, like the very first area of the game, and not much past that. Oh, I like how shooting it using the regular beam, it doesn't damage them, but it makes it release more small X parasites, so I was able to recharge my missiles a bit. High jump and jump ball abilities recovered. Oh, you get both at once. Alright. So the jump ball, I mean, it's kind of funny that you get the jump ball so soon after the morph ball bomb, because as far as the bomb jump goes, it already kind of makes the bomb jump obsolete. So I'm guessing this is the main way this is how we'll escape this area. Is there actually something up there? You have yet to see the Harry Potter world at Universal Studios? Yeah, I just, regardless of anything else, this has nothing to do with the park itself, but I do have a bit of a bad, a grudge against that park, if you could call it that, because they destroyed the Phantom of the Opera film set which was the oldest surviving film set in the world, and that had sat there for over 90 years, and they dismantled that to build a Harry Potter ride, to have more space to build one of the rides in the Harry Potter themed land. What I think is more unfortunate is no, because it's easy to forget now. Universal Studios was literally an active film studio, and they gradually, because it started with the backlot tour thing, right, where you take the tram ride to see, you know, oh, here's some big sets, and they just give you a guided tour, and they had the King Kong thing. And over time, it just gradually transformed into a tourist attraction, into a theme park and an amusement park, instead of an actual live film studio. The closest thing I went to Universal Studios was the Disney MGM Studios at Walt Disney World. I went back in '98, and when I went, they were trying to do a similar thing at MGM Studios at Disney World. And they were trying to do a similar thing to Universal Studios, where it was like an active film set where they actually filmed certain TV shows there at the same time that, you know, and also have it be a park, for the theme park for the public. Yeah, so I enjoyed it, but like I remember I got to see one thing I loved seeing in the tram tour thing. I got to see the dip machine from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It was on display there, and it's funny. So I guess at the time, '98. That would have been for about 10 years old at the time. So, and I don't know where it's at, if they scrapped it or if it's still preserved somewhere, but I'm sure over time that's had to have deteriorated rapidly. And then as the relevance of that movie sort of fades in terms of it being a current, like, active, you know, thing people would be familiar with or excited to see material about, like, I wonder what the condition is of the dip machine now. Now... yeah, okay, I have to go... oh, shucks. Yeah, I forget that I can't shoot out bullets. Oh. Oh, dear. Yeah, I heard some rumbling explosions then, and I didn't comment on it. So, normally I'd be going back up, but I'm gonna have to use... oh, I think this is the first stealth section. What I'm very interested in is how they're going to make the Emmy stealth sections be more, yeah, how are they going to make the stealth sections in Metroid... yeah, they're going to make the stealth sections in Metroid Dread be really unique from these, Stalker sections here. Okay, so we took a roundabout route to get to the same area, so we're just heading up now? Okay, we've been in here before. No, you know what? Now we can jump. Yeah, we can do that now. We couldn't do that before, because before I wanted to grab whatever treasure is over here. Treasure, like I'm playing an adventure game. You went to Disney MGM in '94? They take you by the Golden Girls house? Yeah, I wonder... yeah, I wonder if like that's still, if they bothered to keep that up or whatever, because as I understand it, they don't really film anything at Disney MGM anymore. I think only 1 or 2 movies ever had scenes filmed at Disney MGM Studios. I know they have like a New York street scene that they used for a couple of movies. Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't know if I'd be able to bomb that or not. Okay, so now I can... okay, there we go. Keep on moving. This is a new room right here. Alright. Okay, and jump up, and... yeah, I love that. I love how you can actually see her, like, brace herself to make that next jump. And I never got to see the sprite in such detail. It's really cool. Yeah, they got rid of the MGM branding, like, in 2004 or 5, I think? Yeah, now it's just called Disney Hollywood Studios. Yeah. So I'm guessing... Oh no, I have to... So... I'm gonna have to figure out... Gonna have to figure out a new path. It looks like the SAX blew things up over there. Alright. I should be able to... Okay, so these were intended to... Okay, I think the intention was to use the high jump to get over those. There we go. Okay, it's just a missile recharge. Alright. Will I be streaming tomorrow? No, on my next stream... remember, you can always check on my About page on Twitch if... I will have my latest planned streams up on there. The next stream is going to be Wednesday. Oh, come on. I guess I just didn't quite make those jumps. The next the next stream I'm going to do is going to be Wednesday, the day after tomorrow. I'm just going to go ahead and just stick with Metroid. And just focus on Metroid, get that out the way, because it's not a very long game anyway. And move on to some other things. Save data, yes. Let's see. I can't wait to see what Adam has to say. I think I actually did everything I was supposed to do here. Navigation room. Samus, we've got trouble. Releasing the security lock may have been a bad idea. The SAX has invaded the water environment in Sector 4. AQA, with several thousand X. With the blue hatches active, the SAX has slipped in easily. The creatures and ecosystems in Sector 4 are already showing multiple irregularities. I'm currently investigating. I'll brief you in the navigation room when you arrive. Is your objective clear? Yes. No, head for Sector 4. Yeah, after this week, I guess maybe starting Wednesday, I'm gonna go to a more traditional schedule where I might only do one, or I'm gonna stick to 1 or 2 streams a week. I might do Wednesday and Saturday stream 1 week, and then just a Wednesday stream the next. The SAX, an enemy with the strongest abilities. Does it have reason? Probably not. It's just a killing machine. In my current state, I can't face it head on. The SAX is me, only heartless. I must stop it before it learns its potential and threatens the universe. I mean, come on, it's making pretty... infecting the air conditioning units to spread X parasites throughout Sector 1, that's a pretty sophisticated action to take. Alright, so just go right down in Sector 4. I mean, I could go back up. Actually, if it lets me go back up, I will. Okay, I can't... Wait, I don't know if it'll let me go back up into Sector 0, though, which I guess is the outer ring of the asteroid. Yeah, I still can't go back to Sector 1. I was thinking, hey, I could get some goodies from Sector 0 that were hidden before with my new weapons and powers, but it's not happening. This sector has taken more damage than expected. I knew the X were powerful and destructive, but still, this seems to be purposeful. We certainly can't rule out the possibility that the SAX has a high degree of intelligence. You know, I genuinely forgot that they have this discussion at this point, because I was just discussing myself based on, you know, what the X did in Sector 1 as a high degree of intelligence. I find the X fascinating, especially this SAX. But I digress. This sector is home to a very large creature, the research called Cirrus. I believe this is a very fast... it is capable of moving and attacking at ultra high speed. I believe this is a sea serpent kind of thing. This is the first boss that was a real gauntlet for me, if I remember correctly. But this game does have really cool bosses in general. The more senseless and widespread the destruction here may be attributable to Cirrus. still be posting my streaming schedules on Twitter. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess I could. Because I stopped doing the custom images for every single stream, but I might post an image with the schedule on Twitter. I'm a tad wary of even posting the schedule on Twitter after that disaster where I'm like, you know what, for July, for the first time ever, I'm going to announce my whole schedule a month in advance, and then nonsense happened. And I no doubt the SAX released it, but I can't be sure why yet. Xeris has returned off returned off into the breeding tank here. Its natural behavior must be to go back to it periodically. It's a valuable specimen, but you have been authorized to terminate it. If you don't, it may invade other sectors. Is your objective clear? Yes. While you're moving, be careful. Some broken power wires have electrocuted the water, but we can't cut the water. The power, doing so, would affect the whole station adversely. If you touch the water, you will be electrocuted. Conserve energy as you go. Alright, let's save. Alright, save complete. Alright, I'm gonna get up and stretch a little bit. No, I could use my... There we go. There it is. Alright. How about... Man, there's all this piano, this classical piano music, which I do not mind at all. I actually genuinely like this music, but this is not what I intended to be on my playlist for, you know, the break music and stuff. So let's at least shuffle away from this. There we go. Close to 2 hours, but if using the beautiful new, there it is. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting used to having a Stream Deck because for those who haven't seen it, that's the current setup I have on my Stream Deck with all the wacky buttons it has. The Olive Garden button, the Thomas the Tank Engine button, all these weird buttons that make sense if you're me. Now, if anyone's just joining us, this is the first time I'm playing this since 2004, and we're playing with the Super NES pad I hooked up. It's the Super NES Classic Edition controller. So let's continue on. We're going after Cirrus, who, if I remember correctly, is a super speedy and dangerous sea serpent. So, and if I remember correctly, you do get the, yeah, I just knew a Stream Deck was useful. I had a sense of what it did, but I didn't realize how much you could. There's more customization I want to do. I want to be able to have it so that I can set up chat functions on some of the buttons, which will be useful. Okay. Alright. Can I blow you up? No, I can't. No. This is not good. This is not what I wanted to happen. Oh my goodness. Okay. I can't... It's like not letting me jump. Alright. Can I... Like, I can't get out the water. Oh, I have to climb. Alright, excuse me. Alright, we're good. I did not realize... Yeah, I just didn't think about the climbing aspect. I guess I'm too used to Super... Even though I never even beat Super Metroid and haven't played it in years and years and years, much longer... Not a whole lot longer than since I last played this. But I guess I'm somehow still used to Super Metroid, where the climbing is not a thing that Samus can do. Yeah, a little bit of a darker palette here, the darker, deeper blue, bordering on violet. Alright. Well, Alright, so I need the speed to get through there. Nope. I just tried to use the charge beam to attract a power-up to me like I'm playing Metroid Prime. Yeah, and I love how cryptic those thumbnails, like the images on the buttons are if you don't know what they do. If you don't know, like, what they mean. But I understand what they mean, which is, you know, what matters is I'm the only person who's ever going to be using this. Yeah, for me, I just imagine, like, oh yeah, start stream button, and a recording button, and a button to make a little thing come up that says hi. Like, no, that'll be useful. I didn't realize I could, like, just set custom buttons and make it look however I wanted. There we go. And honestly, I played through... This is one of the few games I've actually played through from beginning to end multiple times. Because I think I played through this game maybe 3 times back in the day. Now, unfortunately, the ending of the game was... I accidentally was just looking online, and the ending was spoiled for me like an hour before I got to that point in the game, which is unfortunate. Like, it's one thing when you get a spoiler at the beginning, but it's like when you get spoiled for something right before you get to that part. Like, I remember I got spoiled for, like, you know, a character death in one of the Harry Potter books. I got spoiled for it. Like, I stopped at the I stopped reading at the chapter before it happened. And some, interesting character, and it wasn't even online, it was, like, in person. He's like, oh, yeah, you're reading that book. It's so sad when so-and-so happened. I'm like, thanks. Like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do that? Like, she was not an especially clever person. But she was a nice person. And I'm glad that, the last time I ran into her, that she, seemed pretty happy. I was never friends with them, but, I'm not gonna hold a serious grudge over a spoiler in a Harry Potter book. At least on the context that happened in this case. Is there secret stuff up here? This looks like any little nook like that. I just have this instinct to try to see if I could, bomb some secrets out of it. No. Alright. I just have an itch on the end of my nose, so... Alright, can I get any further up through here? What can I jump? There we go. Maybe that'd be something I could shoot. And for certain abilities, you almost... Yeah, I guess it just facilitates the level design. Because you almost want to think, yeah, if you're going to gatekeep an area of the game based on a certain item that you had to have at a certain point, for the rest of the game, is there... You could argue, is there any even a point to having any more of that obstacle appear? Because at that point, that gatekeeping element has served its purpose. But it lets you, now that you have the high jump, you can just make the levels taller, which you could then do other things with. Now, it's really lucky that this station happens to be deteriorating in the exact points that Samus would need them to be in. Now, I just did a big... Now, we have to check the map. Let's check the map. Okay, so we're right next to the... Remember when Order of the Phoenix Goblin Fire was getting released? There was a Potter Fiction Online that was labeled... No, there was a Potter Fanfiction Online that was labeled as said official book got leaked. So basically the script of the book got leaked, and what they did was they released it as pretending it was a fanfic. Oh, it was a fake version. It was a fan-made version of what they thought the book might be like. I remember at one point there was a fake Harry Potter book going around in Asia. It was a counterfeit book. Not like a fake copy of an existing Harry Potter book, but a fake book pretending to be the new Harry Potter book. And I think it was called like something like that made no sense in English, like Harry Potter and Leopard Walk Up to Dragon. And it started off as like fan fiction in broken English, and then at some point it just turned into Lord of the Rings with the characters' names swapped out with Harry Potter names. Alright. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be dealing with sea serpents in this one, so is that... I mean, That's a sea serpent skeleton if I ever saw one. And you can tell it's a sea serpent skeleton and not a lake monster skeleton because lake monsters have flippers, whereas sea serpents don't have flippers. I just made that up, but it seems legit to me. You know, it's very easy to troll people back then on the internet. And that Harry Potter and Leopard Walk Up to Dragon, like there was news stories about kids in Asia who genuinely were confused and thought it was the new Harry Potter book. Because it was an actual book that was being sold in stores. It wasn't even just like an online like hoax that was circulating. Well, this looks like a battle arena. Okay, I have an excuse to share this, so I will. Let's see if I could pull it up on my Tumblr. Oh yeah, I happen to use this tag a lot, so there's a lot of stuff to go through, but I'm just looking for the comic that I wrote and that my friend did the art for. There we go. Yep. And yep, there's the comic, link to the comic that I wrote and my friend did the art for, and there's a link to her info too. Yeah, it's sea serpent related, and I really, woo, you are fast. I remember that now. Like cat. Okay. All right. Oh man, how am I gonna keep up? Oh man, you are everywhere. How am I gonna keep up with this? Nope. And ooh man, so fast. Whew. Does he get shorter each time we successfully get the hit in? Good thing this particular room is not electrified. You have to watch his patterns, I guess. Man, the splashing sound effect is smooth too. Nope, my missiles. I'm not fast enough for these missiles. Ooh. Yeah, this platform seems to be a safe one for when he's going all, like, when he's doing the zoomies. Oh yeah, I should have stayed right where I was at. Because like I said, this seemed like a safe... Okay, platform, when he's going straight, when he's doing the above arcs. Now, I might get taken out. Because I remember, I had to redo bosses a lot. These bosses are really fierce. Oh man, I wasn't in the right spot when he was going all bananas. Man. Oof. Oh man, next hit's it. I'm probably gonna have to retry this a few times. You have to be real fast. I was expecting him. Oh man. Please give me some health. Oh man, I got to the core X phase. I just had to collect some more health. And I could have taken him out. Yeah, I love the kind of mechanical sound to, there we go. The mechanical sort of sound, the electronic sort of sound to the chime when Samus spawns back in from the save point. So I guess we're gonna get an energy tank after this. If I play my cards right here. Oh man, I don't need to be losing health this early. Man, losing these, getting a hang of the underwater jump physics are what are messing me up for. All right, so we're full health and full missiles. I think that's what the red ones do. So that's our first death. Oh man, I didn't arm the missiles fast enough. I hit the trigger button like a frame before I actually fired the shot. Oh man. Whew. Oh, he's doing the zoom and he's... Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, man, I thought I was... I guess he switched it up there. Whew. Got knocked down. Modding GTA 4 is a job on its own. This pile of junk PC port needs a lot of fixes. I never really considered the PC. I never really thought of GTA 4 as anything other than a PC game. And it's funny because I was just thinking, because we were talking about GTA 4 a little while ago. Oh, but of all the GTA games out there, like, I guess GTA 4 would be the one I'd be most interested in because Liberty City, you know, is, you know, sort of a playoff of New York City. And plus it would be nostalgic because Grand Theft Auto 3. Oh man, so I'm getting to the core X phase and then getting destroyed. Alright. So, this... Yeah, I could have taken him out at least one phase or sooner. But I just failed to equip the missile fast enough, and the normal shot that I fired wasn't enough to... You know what? What I might do... I'm considering... Yeah, it's not so bad. If the approach to the boss was any further, maybe I would save right at the start of the boss fight, just to save time, because there's no real challenge to this part, so I don't feel like that would be like with Stinger, where I was using the save state function to play the game basically one frame at a time. There we go. Full health and everything. Yeah, so not only would the region be based on, you know, like someplace I know personally, it would also be cool in the sense that, well, it'd just be more nostalgic for... Okay. Seems like the opening zoomies weren't as... Yeah, I need to... Whew. Yeah, I cannot... I'm just failing to drop down quickly enough. Yeah, that was just... If I was a couple of steps over... Man, I can't... How do... Down? Yeah, hitting down and A. I'm just not quick enough dropping off of those, that ladder. Or those monkey bars, I guess. I almost got him there. You see me launching missiles left and right trying to get to him in time. There we go. Yeah, there I got it. Oh, I shouldn't have grabbed the monkey bars again. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know if there's a predictable pattern to his zoomies after you damage him. One more missile should just go. Okay, we're at the... Okay, it's time for health recovery. Man. Really not making it easy. Oh, man. Oh, man, I was like one shot away from getting him. Alright, but we're getting... It's not that we're getting better at the Core X part, I think it's just that... I don't think I need help with the Core X part, it's just the fact that getting better at the actual Cirrus fight is just ending us with more HP, with more health by the end of the fight, so I'm just able to survive the final phase of the fight longer. Daggone. But the red X parasite we get from this guy will go along. And usually, at this point, it's restoring our health fully. I don't think it's a full health restore necessarily, but at this point, with the level of missiles and energy that we have, it's effectively acting as a full restore. Okay. Oh, gosh. Alright. Now I need to stop. I don't think at any point was I ever have this high health this late into the fight, so we're already doing better. Yeah, it's the Core X. All the times we've died, it's been the Core X section that's done it. Oh man, he did a lower attack twice. Man. I don't think he's ever damaged us that much on one cycle when he's doing the zoomies. Oh, cannot jump out the way fast enough. Whew. Yeah, we dodged him. Okay. Oh man, this is not... Okay, we just barely did that. Falling in the water almost killed us there. Alright. Yeah, falling in the water almost killed us. Speed booster power regained. Run until speed boost begins. And it's also neat that it's funny how both this game and Metroid Prime were the games where they at the same time the 2D game Metroid Prime, the 2D Metroid games and the Metroid Prime games both began to find plausible in-universe reasons that Samus would lose all her abilities from the previous games. Wait, can I don't know how to Shine Spark. I haven't done that in a very long time. But okay, I don't have to here. I don't think you ever have to Shine Spark to do any necessary things in the Metroid games. But you can do some cool secret stuff with it. Alright. There we go. Now is this? That looks like... There we go. I knew that looked suspicious. So that's the first, like, serious boss. The first boss that actually was serious enough to cause a death. Missile tank acquired. But what are they getting at with this here? I wonder why they put that there. Nah. Alright, let's keep going. No. There we go, absorb that. No, 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 no. Okay, we don't have the wall jump. Or at least, yeah. I don't know if the wall jump, is that just something Samus has? And I forgot if she has a wall jump in this game. But if we have it and we need it, we'll figure it out later. Alright, save room, nice. Yeah, play for another hour and change. Head down here. So we've been in this room before. Why don't I guess we didn't explore it much? Because I don't remember all this. And did we not? Okay, we got into this room. Is this room full of electricity or something? Or did defeating the boss de-electrify some of this water? Is that what was going on? Did I? Yeah, I did come through here. And just, well, actually, let's do some map positioning. I mean, well, let's go through here, see if there's anything new we can get. I think at this point, I know there's the rights for a Metroid movie. People have purchased the official legitimate rights to make a Metroid Hollywood film, but then they never followed through on it. Because really around 2004 would have been, I guess, the ideal time to go for it. A project like that. Pump control unit. Oh, what's this? Water level lowered. I didn't even know this was something I was trying to do, so I'm glad I found it. Because I'm like, well, the mission was to defeat Cirrus, and I defeated Cirrus, so... I bet, between Metroid Dread and then Metroid Prime 4, I think we'll get into sort of another golden age for Metroid. But yeah, Metroid, other M, didn't help much. They require having a sci-fi $200 million movie star a woman, and people don't like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny because I feel like Other M storyline was the first game in the series that yeah, they're those they're the scantily clad Samus shots at the end that started with Metroid Fusion, you know, and got more and more in Other M and so forth. But I feel like Other M was the first game where they made it a story element that Samus was a woman, and it didn't quite feel sexist to me, but it felt unimaginative, and it felt contrary to the character as we understood her to that point. Brie Larson showed interest in playing Samus. Think that's good casting? Yeah, I think it would work. I don't really care about anything that any actors... I mean, it takes a lot for me to actually care about what actors say or do outside of the movies, to the point where that colors my opinion of their performance in the movies themselves. I didn't think the only movie I ever saw with her in it was the Captain Marvel, which I was very excited and interesting to see, and I don't think the movie didn't live up to my expectations. I really just think I really feel like the movie should have been more ambitious in a lot of ways, and I think that's what I found disappointing. And when it comes to like the women's empowerment angle, I didn't feel like they executed it well. If you like, there's an anime called Dragon Pilot Hisonian Masotan that's on Netflix, and I think the whole approaching the idea of like women in the military and having limited opportunities, I think that children's anime was more ambitious and thought-provoking in terms of addressing those issues than Captain Marvel was. And then, like, because I liked the Wonder Woman movie that came out around the same time. I know I don't want to get too deep into this if it ignites chat at all, but I know there are certain controversies as to whether the reception to the Captain Marvel movie was due to sexism. But me personally, I saw both that and Wonder Woman around the same time. I wasn't that impressed with the some aspects of the Captain Marvel movie, but I love the Wonder Woman movie. So, yeah, I don't know I have no concept. The only thing I knew about Captain Marvel prior to the Captain Marvel film was just the whole weird history of how Captain Marvel was basically like all the weird like legal entanglements involving Captain Marvel, leading to the weird irony that basically oh, I was just being careless there. I was just being clumsy. That 2 Captain Marvel movies came out in the same time period. Like, that both versions of the character came out in the same time period. Because Shazam was originally called Captain Marvel, and there's a weird, like, history with that. But, some people... You always associate Metroid with Kid Icarus, because you played both around the same time in the late 80s. You've thoroughly enjoyed both. Well, you know, I don't know. You may know this, Kalaka Boy, but Metroid and Kid Icarus run on the same engine. Yeah, they run on the same engine, and were both disk system games in Japan, and they both use the same, they both use the same password system when they brought them to North America. Ah, another energy tank. Definitely don't want to die now. And really, like, I don't even necessarily care about the character of Captain Marvel in the movie so much. I mean, it didn't help anything, but just certain things, like, a good twist in a movie should have enough evidence within the film itself for you to make a reasonable guess as to, like, oh, like, I see, like, I was tricked, or an observant person should be able to look watch those and make guesses or theories about certain mysteries. And the major twist of the Captain Marvel movie was something that came out of nowhere and was kind of, I think, insulting to the audience's intelligence, in the sense that the twist came out of nowhere, and it's intended to bait you into feeling bad for making assumptions about certain characters' motivations. But as far as what you see on screen up to that point, there's nothing that leads you to believe otherwise. Like a good twist should be like, oh, it's a mystery, you don't know who the killer is, and then, like, when you might notice, oh, a certain character had a letter opener, and that turned out to be the murder weapon. And there's certain things you might be able to piece together or appreciate on subsequent watch-throughs. Whereas the major twist in Captain Marvel, I feel like, was something that they baited you to feel a certain way, and then, like, I'm gonna use My Little Pony as an example. Like, they tried to have the episode Bridal Gossip, which I did like an hour-and-a-half long video on for a college project, which is why the only reason I know any of this stuff about My Little Pony. You never understood why there's a Kid Icarus too, and it's kind of funny because, hold on, let me read the whole comment. I never understood why there wasn't a Kid Icarus 2 on NES and maybe Super Kid Icarus on Super NES. Lost opportunity. And it's kind of funny because Metroid went on to have a Game Boy exclusive sequel. Because just another similarity between Kid Icarus and Metroid is that both of those games went on to have full-fledged sequels that were Game Boy exclusive at a time when having a major home console game have a sequel that's exclusive to a handheld was a pretty big deal. Like, it never really happened, even as a lot of games, as the game technology improved over the years. Okay, so I have to go real fast through there. And so it's like 2 Famicom Disk System games, both brought to NES with the same password system, both using the same engine even. You'd think the thing to do would be to have, you know, okay, so both Metroid and Kid Icarus had full-fledged sequels on Game Boy. You'd think the next step would have been to have, like Clackaboy was saying, a Super Kid Icarus on the Super Nintendo to accompany Super Metroid. And one thing, I know I've commented on this on other videos, on other streams, I find it kind of irritating when streams, like, I've seen videos or people talk about Super Metroid as in the context of, okay, we've been through here, the pump control unit. In the context of, they'll talk about Super Metroid as being like, oh, like, it came out in, like, the twilight of the Super NES's lifespan, and when the new systems were already on the way, and that's not what the atmosphere of 1994 was like. In 1994, like, yeah, in hindsight, you could look back at that, like, 1994, Super Metroid came out. It's the same year that the same year that the, let's map spot here. Yeah, I guess at this point, maybe we're heading back to the navigation room. Oh, it's the same year that the original PlayStation came out in Japan. And, you know that Saturn is on the way. And then following year, Saturn and PlayStation are coming out in North America. So in that context, it could seem like, oh, PS4, it's like the twilight of the 16-bit, 1994, not PS4. Was the twilight of the NES Super NES Genesis 16-bit era. So like something like Super Metroid was like almost overlooked because it came so late in the system's lifespan. But if you actually look back at 94 at the gaming magazines and my own personal memories, it was like the height of the 16-bit era, where all these 16-bit games are doing things like Donkey Kong Country and Super Metroid that are pushing the Super NES to its limits. Sonic is coming out with Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. So the 94 and even 95 were not perceived at the time like, oh, these systems are obsolete and long in the tooth, even as there was excitement for the future of gaming, especially with the emergence of polygonal 3D worlds in gaming. Now, I want to go... Actually, I'm going to restore and save, then head back down. Restore, then save, and then I'm going to explore a bit of the... Yeah, if I go into the navigation room, I have a feeling it might lock me out and try to progress the plot more. Because the mission was to destroy Cirrus, and we did that. So let's see if we can grab any more goodies. Because we're definitely going to need, if we could find any more energy tanks or missile upgrades, we're definitely going to need those. Pretty crazy to me that this came out the year before... PS1. They feel so separated to me. Well, you're talking about Super Metroid, right? Because this came out in 2002 for Game Boy Advance. I don't know if I was talking about Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion like interchangeably. If I was and it messed you up, that's came out. Yeah, Super Metroid. And in Japan, in Japan, Super Metroid. In Japan, Super Metroid was the same year. Super Metroid and Donkey Kong Country were the same year that PS1 came out in Japan. Because looking back, you've probably experienced this a bit with your old game magazine streams. Just how looking at like early PS1 and N64 footage, and you're going through the magazine. Yeah, we're gonna need super missiles and the gravity suit to get through here. Yeah, but the magazines are still full of reviews and previews and advertisements for 16-bit games. And it's kind of easy to forget that. Because I know when I was reading some N64 coverage, or like early N64 coverage and PS1 coverage in magazines, but it's like the magazines are still dominated by 16-bit game coverage. Yeah, so there's no further we can go right now down here. I was hoping I could not sequence break, but maybe find some goodies that I perhaps wasn't intended to find just yet. But yeah, comparing this directly to Super Metroid, you can see how, yeah, it's a little sharper, a little crisper, these graphics. Save data, yes. Yeah, we'll play for another hour and call it. Can I pull up? I wonder, can I pull up my... Up and in? Let's see if I pull up the timer. Pull this? No, I'm going to have to... The timer... I have to redo the timer in this layout. So I'm just going to make that go away and make the end in text go away. Because when I know concretely how much longer I'm going to play, I like to have that on screen. I wonder if Metroid Dread will call itself Metroid 5. In the... I don't know if you saw it. Well, I mean, this is the title of the game, so I don't think this will be a spoiler, but in the reveal trailer for the game, it said Metroid 5 on screen in the same manner that Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion said Metroid 3 and Metroid 4 respectively. So I'm very certain if they did that for the trailer, they're probably going to do that as well for the opening of Metroid Dread. Now, I hope that Metroid Dread stops this awful thing they did with Metroid Zero Mission. With Metroid Other M, which was another one of the things a lot of fans didn't like about Other M, was that even in the marketing for the game, they wrote the Metroid Prime games out of existence. They seemed almost embarrassed of the Metroid Prime games, didn't mention them in the official timeline of events, and then put things in Metroid Other M that directly contradicted events in the Metroid Prime games. And I almost felt a bit like Japan was like Sakamoto was like trying to yank back the reins from Retro, like, oh, well, we're just going to write you out of existence. We're going to take control of the official Metroid narrative, and the Prime games are just a side story. Like, that's a bit of what that felt like to me, but... No, Metroid 5 was the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, we're getting... I don't know if it's going to be a 2D Metroid or a game in the style of Other M, at least in terms of gameplay, but one way or another, we're getting a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion. Sirius had been infected by the X2. Well, as a result, you've recovered another ability. At this rate, you'll be able to face the SAX yet, but that's still a ways off. HQ has more support data. This time it's missile upgrade data. You desperately need this, but the data room here is sealed with a level 4 lock, the highest security level. Let's avoid opening sensitive areas unless it's necessary. Also, the route to the data room in Sector 2 is blocked by still more SAX activity. I notice a deliberate activity pattern, as if it's blocking your recovery intentionally. Samus, it looks like your best option is the download in Sector 3 PYR. You will find the PYR data on your map after using a navigation room there. Is your objective clear? Yes. Dread is only... What? Dread is only 4 days away? Dread is only 4 days away? Hold on. Hold the boat. Hold the boat. Hold on. Metroid Dread release? It's the... I thought Dread was coming out at the end of the month. I thought Dread... Oh my gosh, I thought Dread was coming out at the end of the month. I would have started this yesterday if I'd known. I thought this came... I've got to... There are actions that must be taken ASAP. I won't do it right this second. I'll do it once the stream ends. Yeah, beating this just became a much higher priority. Perhaps No, I'm going to stay true to... I'm not going to stream tomorrow. But I will... Yeah, the stream on Wednesday might be a bit of a longer stream, trying to get this out the way. I did not realize... I have to make my layout for Metroid... For Metroid Dread. Yeah, there's certain plans I need to make, certain things I need to do. Yeah, for some reason, my brain turned Metroid Dread into November 8th. Yeah, we don't have the super missiles yet. We have to go up to the pyro section. So yeah, we'll play for another 57 minutes. It's the first time in a while we've heard this music. Oh wait, can we go back? Oh, we can go back to Sector 1 now. You ordered your OLED from Best Buy, which never gets to meet you on launch day? Huh. Okay. Why did I use the navigation room? I don't need to. Confirm mission objective? No. Head for Sector 3? No, I want to explore with my newfound powers a bit. I normally don't explore out of sequence like this, but getting more energy tanks now will make the game a lot more manageable later. Yeah, this is new area. Right. Oh. Ooh, yeah, we do not have the various suit yet, so... You gotta sell your Switch Lite? You said you gotta? I hope it's you're selling it on your terms, like it's not useful or needed anymore, so you're getting rid of it. Not that, like, I have to pay a bill or something and I need to get rid of it, but I'd like to keep it. You bought the Switch Lite and after a week replaced it with the regular? Yeah, for me, like, when the Switch came out, if the Switch Lite was available, I would have gotten it, because I didn't even have an HD TV at the time. And so having extreme, like, better portability was more important to me than anything regards, and then playing on a TV. But now I'm glad I didn't have that option, because obviously the Switch Lite can't be streamed. So here's what I had in mind. This down here. They'll be selling your Switch Lite to pay for Metroid. What's the... Do I need to use power bombs? But there's not even an indication as to any... Alright. I don't remember what's where. Yeah, I'm being a bit hasty. Ah. Well, here's at least one new room we haven't been into before. It's a fire room, but it's not too hot for being without the various suit. The only thing you liked about the light was the dedicated D-pad? Yeah, and the reason they did that, and I don't hear a lot of people discuss this much, the reason the Joy-Con doesn't have an actual D-pad is because the idea is they wanted those directional buttons to be usable as action buttons when the controller is sideways. So for, like, on-the-fly multiplayer, when two players are using each Joy-Con as its own controller in tabletop mode. But the result of that is that, you know, there's no D-pad. For the first time on a de facto Nintendo controller. And... Excuse me. There we go. So because the controls are built into the Switch Lite, they don't have to worry about a second player using a Joy-Con because they are no Joy-Con. I mean, I really wish. There are times where I consider getting a Switch Lite, but I just don't play games on the go enough anymore. Like I've actually had to carry this. Yeah, it's like I'd rather. If I have a choice between, like, a Switch Lite, my dream Nintendo item right now would be to take the Mario Game & Watch and make just a Game & Watch Classic Edition where every possible game that you could adapt using a single screen and with the A, B, and D-pad setup, to just adapt all those, put all those on a single Game & Watch. I would pay $100 for that. That would be a hot, awesome thing I'd carry with me everywhere I go for as long as the device lasts. Because the thing is, a lot of the games that they're making these standalone Game Watch units for, like Super Mario Brothers and those the Zelda Link's Awakening and the one with the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Zelda 2, those aren't ideal portable games to me. Like I would pay like $100. Like my dream device, I wish I could get a Game & Watch with Versus Pinball on it. That would be great. I know you could. I understand hacking those Super Mario Brothers Game & Watches is much more complicated than doing that with a Switch Lite. Okay, I mean with the Like the NES and Super NES Classic Editions, you could hack those and put ROMs on them and stuff. I never did that. Mine are in factory settings. It just feels kind of like if I wanted to do that kind of stuff, I'd just get a little Android emulation box or something like that. It feels kind of weird to have like official hardware and do that kind of stuff with. With the Game & Watch, that's like it's a bit more appealing, but it's also a lot more complicated. I guess Nintendo learned their lesson and made it much harder to modify the Game & Watches. But I like my Mario Brothers Game & Watch the way it is. The main thing I play on it is the ball minigame. Now, did I... Is there a way... Yeah, there's nothing... Yeah, I just feel like I just wasted a bunch of time in here. I hoped I would find a lot of goodies. I doubt I'll do it, but theoretically off stream I could go and find like where all the different hidden power-ups and stuff are, but I probably won't even have the time to go and do that. And it's probably just gonna barely be worth it. No. Just making sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna head back towards the opening and move on with the scenario. Yeah, here's the room where there was that item, that thing that I thought might be. There's the air conditioner we fixed before. Is this bombable? No. Now, one thing I'm interested to see with Dread is how... Because Samus ends the Metroid fusion with basically a fully restored fusion suit in the sense that, like, it's back to her original orange color. She has all her abilities, but it's, like, in the colors of the... It's in the style of the fusion, the slimmer, more form-fitting style of the fusion suit, which you're led to believe is sort of like a permanent change to her. But then in the first trailer for Metroid Dread, it looked like she had like a more mechanical looking version of the fusion suit. And in other games, like in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, she had the PED suit. You just gotta act... Gotta ask Mecha, was that PSA just a joke? What PSA? Oh, about... Wait, huh? I feel like I missed something. Did I miss something? Because there are times when my chat hangs up and it won't load up until something else happened. Did something play on my stream that other people saw that I didn't, and I wasn't even aware of it? Because I wouldn't put that past Twitch at this point. Okay, so we're in the fire zone now. Okay. No, but I was saying, like in Metroid Prime, he's referring to me doing a stream where I said I'm retiring my traditional game playing on my channel. Yeah, I missed that. If that's up, I'll have to go look at that, because any stream where you're doing magazines and stuff. PSA quitting gaming. You know, I wonder if Mecha-Kong quitting gaming or quitting streaming is going to be maybe a bit like when Hayao Miyazaki does his annual retirement announcement. I know I'm exaggerating quite a bit, but it comes to seem that way at points. I'd say it's not a joke. Traditional gaming for me is essentially what H is doing now, playing a linear single-player game from start to finish. So what do you mean by traditional gaming? Like, I mean, traditional gaming, like, so are you going to do other gameplay where you're just, like, what, doing... Yeah, I'd love to hear the explanation you have, because you ended on a comma, which implies that you may have more to come. In order to download, you must find the security room here and activate level 2 hatches. This may allow the SAX and X parasites into the area, but we are left with no choice. The recovery is our main goal. The data room is here. As I explained, security rooms can't be shown on the map. Be careful, Samus. You will see very violent organisms here. And avoid the ultra-heated areas. Your suit can't take such high temperatures yet, but we're working on it. Level 2 hatches are green. Release the lock and proceed to the data room for download. Super missile data is ready. Your firepower will triple. And continue to stream magazine reads, watch party, and other games when I want to, such as speed running, or even rounds of Mario Party, golf, etc. Okay. Hey, that doesn't... that sounds like a pretty sweet format, if you ask me. I'm like, hey, that's not... Yeah, that sounds like a pretty sweet format. Yeah, you just shouldn't feel pressured to do, like, play through a game. Like, because even look at my stream history in the 32 games I played. Like, 90% of the games I played, or maybe 80%, have been, like, arcade games. Like, high score-oriented arcade games, or platformers like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on Game Gear that could be beaten in a single sitting. So, I really don't... It's a rarity when I even play a longer game, even like Super Mario Advance. And that was Super Mario Bros. 2. Arguably, like, even Super Mario Bros. 2, that was like 2 or 3 streams for me. That game could really be beaten in a single setting if you know Super Mario Bros. 2 in and out. If you prefer to play single-player story experiences alone, I feel you on that, to the point where I'm wondering how well I'll even do with playing Pokemon Legends Arceus on stream. I'm gonna go for it on stream, but you may steal your no-death run for Kirby's Adventure. That's a fierce game to try in a single run, because I remember that taking me a few days to beat it. Because I haven't played that game since 2001. Yeah, I haven't really played that game since 2001. I can imagine that being a really fierce game to try to beat in a singles without any deaths. Quite unlike Sonic the Hedgehog, because in Sonic the Hedgehog you could beat that game in an hour, not even trying to speed through it. All right, let's finish this sector. How about one way? Ideally, we'll finish this sector if it seems like we're close to making it back out of this sector. Before, if it seems like we're close and we're up to an hour, we'll go in like another hour. We'll go maybe 6:30 Eastern time to just get through this section. And I think that'll put us about maybe 25% to a third through the game. Yeah, no, yeah, but I'm really questioning if Pokemon Legends Arceus, especially with its action elements, it's going to be a good game for me to play like while streaming and interacting with chat. I don't know how well that may or may not work. It's going to be experimental. And oh shucks. Yeah, we're getting out of there. And notice how Samus took damage because she does not have a Varia suit. She didn't enter the area with her Varia suit feature in her possession and fully online, but simply choose to turn it off to appease a creepy, borderline abusive commanding officer. Other M, I'm staring pointedly at you. Let's see. Any... Oh, okay. Do we have to Shine Spark through that? Oh, can we even Shine Spark through that? Now, let's see if... Okay. Okay, there we go. Had to be something that was going to give way. I was about to say, we're about to be on the same, like, you'll ever fully give up gaming? Yeah, like, and honestly, if Pokemon Legends Arceus, if it doesn't work doing it live, I'll do Let's Play sections, I'll do Let's Play chapters of it, and I'll, maybe eventually have a sort of a watch party type thing for it here on Twitch, maybe. Your commentary on those magazines is fantastic. I watched my own magazine stream, and I'm like, this was fun doing these. I'd like to go back and do these again. You are waiting. Because I'm using the Super Nintendo pad, you know what? That might be another thing that messed with you and made you associate this with being Super Metroid for a second, or mix up the year that this came out, because I've shown the Super NES pad on screen a couple of times. That I just press select to try to switch to the missiles, and that's one thing that makes this game the control so much better than Super Metroid to me. The fact just being able to switch on and off the missiles on the fly. Comics would be a fun thing to go through on stream. Yeah, you just have to make sure you're doing comics where the copyright holders aren't going to care much about it. Because, like, if I was going to do the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics, I don't think anyone would care about that. Okay. Hey, we found the security room. And it's like, on one hand, yes, I was looking for it, but I wasn't looking for it. I was just playing the game. They still sell those. They just go off sale. They only make them in batches, kind of. And yeah, honestly, yeah, it would be nice to have. At one point, I was gonna pull the trigger on getting the wireless Super NES pad, but yeah, for use with certain games, but it just like it was sold out at that moment. And that's really clever. They do follow up on like the in-universe thing, like, oh, you really opening the security doors will let more X-parasites enter the area, so be careful. And they actually followed through on that, where like you have this huge area with nothing to fight, and then as soon as you open those hatches, they swoop on in. Now I'm going to have to use the running ability. You just have to have a new production N64 controller. Hopefully, the analog stick mechanism is fixed so that it lasts longer. You're a little worried to invest those controllers. You can see a Switch coming out, but with those, the thing is with those controllers, I don't think it's going to be like going from the Wii U gamepad to the Switch, where those total break and all the Wii and Wii U stuff didn't work with Switch. I think those controllers will work on future Nintendo systems. I really would be shocked if those controllers didn't work with whatever next generation Switch, and I would honestly be shocked, like, because with going from GameCube to Wii, you didn't know what Nintendo was planning. Going from Wii to Wii U, you didn't know what Nintendo was planning. Going from Wii U to NX, as it was being called in its planning time, to you didn't know what they were going to do. I really would be shocked if the full, not Switch Pro as such as it were, but whatever the next gen successor is to the Switch platform, whatever the next generation is, I expect it to be an iteration on the hybrid product. Yeah, it's not hard to get some of those. Like they've found ways to with relative ease get stuff like the Switch, like the Switch Pro controller and the like to work on PC. Because it is just using Bluetooth, I think. Well, that's one thing I never specified. Serial Wars, you're talking about how you wish that the Wii used USB instead of these custom proprietary hookups. But the thing about these is that these lock into place. I don't think there's a version of USB that does that, because these are made to be so that if you're playing a motion game, you can't yank the expansion controller out by accident. I think that's the main reason Nintendo made a proprietary controller instead of just going with USB or something similar. Yeah, I think for engineering purposes, I think that's why they have those weird custom ports for Wii-related stuff. Alright. Yeah, take that. Okay. Yeah, the proprietary controllers are awesome when you're using on the Wii because, etc., it's a PC, etc. I remember, like, between the reveal of the Wii Remote, or as the Revolution controller, as it was being called, on the Nintendo Insider forums, they're actually calling it the Rev-Mote for Revolution Remote, before, like, the Wii Remote name was revealed and the Wii name. But, they're like, in some interview with Iwata, people saying, like, oh, how will virtual console games work with this bizarre new controller? And they were saying, and I think Miyamoto's wording was that there would be a shell that the Wii Remote docked into that would have, like, the traditional controller layout. And that term, the shell, was being used, like, it was common parlance, at least on the Nintendo Insider forums, about, like, oh, like, the shell. And I remember, like, the day of Nintendo's E3 2006 presentation, a Nintendo employee came out with a printed out picture. Because remember, this is before smartphones as we know them now. This is like May 2006. They found on the computer at work. They found a picture, the first picture of the classic controller, and we were baffled by it. It's like we were expecting a shell to play like older games or games that would needed more buttons, and we were expecting something that the Wii Remote docked into, not just a controller with a cord that the Wii Remote then plugged into the end of. Yeah, you could use those on the PC, but you need to sync the remote via Bluetooth first. There we go. Got our... Okay, that's a door. We will need... Okay. I feel like I'm... Based on my memory, at this point, I remember already having encountered a chase scene with the SAX by this point in the game. But, like I said, I haven't played this game since 2003 or 4. And we can't... Yeah, we eventually will get a weapon that could shoot through doors, so you could shoot through the switch. And we don't have that yet, so we're trying to get... Yeah, we're gonna have to take... Huh, we'll have to figure this out. Let me go up through there again, make sure there's nothing I'm missing. Yeah, but now that I have the Xbox One controller, it's really... And it's a great feeling controller, too. Yeah, I really don't see much of a need to, like, for my purposes, get, like, any Bluetooth Nintendo controllers that were intended for use with Nintendo systems to find a way to get those to work. Yeah, we're gonna have to find another path. Yeah, let's head back down. So not there. Something about that spot looks suspicious, but... You like the new Xbox controllers, but you want PS5 over them for one reason? There's too much technology. So much technology in the PS5 controller for the same price. Yeah, I still have yet to experience DualSense. And that's the first thing. And I know I've probably made this point before. Rechargeable battery being the feature you like the most. Like, I understand... like the benefit when some people like rechargeable controllers and some like internal batteries. Some people like having AA use. But what gets me is the people who favor AA's. I mean, who favor rechargeable controllers, saying that AA's are obsolete. Because I saw people saying like, "Oh, how could Microsoft still be using these obsolete technology?" And I'm like, if AA batteries were obsolete, they wouldn't be in every store in the developed world. And long term, there are certain... Okay, so we got the security room. Like, long term... Wait, did I... We're trying to get... Yeah, long term... Like, my main... One of the things I think about in terms of rechargeable batteries, like the Game Boy Advance SP, the very system that I played this game on back in the day. It was great being able to... I remember back in the day, I would charge my GBA, my DS, like every Friday I'd plug it up and it was good for the week. And I was not a lightweight gamer. I'd use... Yeah, they don't use AA's for longevity on the consumer side, though. They do it for cheaper production costs and some Duracell deal. Yeah, that's true, but it's like, I wonder if, like, it's harder to quantify, but if you actually looked at your electric bill for using, you know, appropriate AA batteries versus how much it costs to charge those controllers, like, how the costs measure out exactly, because you're ultimately using the same amount of electricity, it's just in a different form. You're like, yeah, it would be cool. I don't know if... Like, is there a rechargeable pack for the Xbox family controllers? I'm not aware if there is or not, so... Yeah, because like my Game Boy Advance SP, it was awesome having the rechargeable battery in it, but nowadays it's hard to get a market replacement that's of not a cheap, like, off-brand one, aftermarket one, and that actually matches the controllers. Because I have a black SP that was not a common color, and one of the reasons I like the black SP is because I was aware of this even at the time. Like the Platinum GBA, the Platinum Game Boy SP, the Platinum GameCube, those were all made with clear, like with generic plastic that they then painted, whereas the black Game Boy Advance and the black Game Boy Advance SP, those were actually made out of black plastic. So when the scratches and damage came to those, the Platinum systems would look really awful, whereas the black systems... There is, but you need to buy it separately. So at least it's the option, because I'm already thinking of long term. I'm just thinking of, like, you know, my DS systems and my Game Boy Advance SP. Okay, that is off limits. Hints are hints are welcome if you happen to know offhand what I'm doing wrong and what I'm overlooking. So there's a bombable passage up there. I might as well go to the recharge room because I'm already up here. Yeah, I'm close enough, and I don't remember if I've saved since doing the security room. So if I die, I don't have to go through all that again. You buy the official Microsoft recharge kits for 360, and that was god-awful. They literally used the cheapest battery they could source for them. After a couple of months, they wouldn't even hold the charge. That's really sad. Because those were, like, the 360 controllers were, like, I don't remember what the price of the PS3 controllers, but I remember those being really expensive for the time. And because I remember people worrying, like, how expensive the Wii remotes might be. And I still believe, like, the Wii, one of the biggest... I would love to see the parallel universe that would have emerged if the original Wii had the Wii Motion Plus level motion sensing accuracy from day one. I would have loved to see how that would have turned out, because I think the nature of the games would have been very different, and even with its low output, even with its low specs, there would have been a lot more hardcore games on that system, or traditional games, I guess you could say. Because Wii was this... Oh, hello. Hey, we did it without even needing a hint. I did it without even needing hints. Yeah, I knew there was something somewhere that I was overlooking. That was the first, like, genuinely, like, lost in the game I got. And I'm proud that I was able to solve it myself. Oh, okay, so I have to run a bit further than they give you... Hello. The space to... How did I miss... That was silly how missing all those guys. Alright. So, if I start running here... Okay, so I have to run... I lost my momentum there. So if I don't get what I'm supposed to be doing. Am I supposed to jump and then fall through it while I'm in hyper speed mode thing? Yeah, just barely enough space to go hyper. I actually meant to go down and not up. Yeah, so if I leave that room... Okay. Oh, that... I thought those were going to be more speed blocks, but it just let me fall through. Just want to shoot around, bomb around, make sure there's nothing hidden over here. Hello, beautiful. Okay, let's get rid of him. Wait. I just did a wall jump there. I didn't know even if I could do that in this game. Or if it was a power-up I had to unlock, or what. What's kind of funny is, even in 2021, the Xbox 360 driver is the most compatible and recognized controller input for PC. Well, I was just kind of I was impressed, because I didn't even read any guide like how to use the Xbox 360 controller with PC using USB. I know there's some thing built into Windows 10 to like install controllers and whatever. I didn't even mess with that. I just plugged it in, and it just instantly worked without me even having to do anything. I was kind of surprised. I was really happy with that. And when you use your PS3 controller on the PC, the way you want, you have to transport the input to 360 input. Yeah, and it's funny how Nintendo, I know I'm sure I've said this in the past, but the way Nintendo has this reputation for gimmicky controllers, but every single PlayStation controller from PS2 onwards had some kind of like novel technology built into the controller. Like PS2 had the analog buttons, the analog face buttons. PS3 had the 6-axis. PS4 had the touchpad, and PS5 has the whole DualSense thing going on. Microsoft controllers are the only ones that work 100% out the box with everything. I mean, it makes enough sense. It is their platform. I mean, is it more of a matter of just... do you think it's a deliberate thing where they tried to engineer it that way to encourage... Like, do you think they tried to make other controllers harder to use for, like, monopolistic purposes? Or you just that, you know, they're making the software and the hardware, so naturally it's just going to have a high level of compatibility? Okay, let's check the map. We're way... You have to... Yeah, you have to... And this room is too hot, right? Yeah, too hot. But what's in... But this next room has that big circle in it, so there might be something we missed. Using Z input device, I should say, or any controller using an X input device. And this next room, that's too hot too, right? Okay, so the adjacent rooms I need the Varia suit for. Yeah, I have lots of enemies here that encourage the use of missiles, so I guess... Okay, so that way... No. I like how when you... I never noticed this before, but it's as it should be. When you have the missiles turned on, Samus can't move up and down on the ladder. Alright. There we go. Got them. Don't give them a chance to reform. Remember using direct input devices like the serial port controllers? It was always hit or miss with programs. I never bothered using serial port controllers. I knew of serial stuff as just being so unreliable that it didn't matter. So, like, for all my PC gaming I was doing in, all the, Commander Keen type stuff, older, like, DOS stuff, I've never bothered with gamepads or controllers or joysticks. So I was able to save myself a lot of frustration and difficulty. What's in here? Is this also a... Is this anything hidden in here? You had to go buy a sound card to plug in a controller on most computers. I remember that, but not specifically. Yeah, I remember just even having the ports to plug in controllers was a big deal. Like, I remember Windows 95 being like, oh wow, you can just plug in things and they work. I mean, at least theoretically, but it was certainly a lot closer to just plugging in things and they work than it was with earlier versions of Windows. But at the time, that Windows 95 came out, I just had a Mac SE. So, yeah, it was nowhere near that universe. This is a new room. There we go. Oh. Doggone. Alright. Alright. Get a little health back from these guys. Now I could farm. But I just farm here for health here, but just not that interested in doing so. Okay, so there's just one spot where you could fall through. Because the other spots weren't letting me fall through, what I thought was I had to speed through that whole section. I'm wasting way too many... Yeah, I just did a wall kick. I'm wasting too many missiles on these buttholes, though, so... Yeah, I can't quite... Oh, shucks, that was close. I almost took a hit from him there. Yeah, I can't get over there quite yet. Wait, unless I use... Nope, not quite. Can't use the ball jump either. So... I hope this whole thing, I hope this isn't all just a puzzle. Okay. Missile tank acquired. Okay, there we go. Now we're moving. Now. Yeah, because if that was just a missile tank, I would have been a bit disappointed, because I'd rather... Hey, this is the spot we... So we're going to get the super missiles and backtrack through there. This looks... is what I think is coming up about to come up. If this is... No. Oh, man. Because of the color... You know, oh, I see. Those are heat lamps. Because it's a simulated desert. Along with all the other pyroclastic creatures. Oh. In this zone. Yeah, it's cool that they use the... oh, shucks. It's really neat that they used the... Yeah, I never noticed like well, not dynamic lighting, I guess, but the heat shimmer I noticed, but just the lighting on Samus and the enemies is different under these heat lamps. What capture device do I use? I know this room. This room haunts my dreams. I know what room this is. I know exactly what room this is. All right. I use an Elgato HD60S, which I basically... which is, from what I hear, I know this is kind of hyperbolic, but everyone uses it and everyone complains about it, but it's one of those things because it's the thing that most people are using when things go wrong with it. With a capture device, it's going to be the one that people are going to be talking about. Super missile downloaded, hold R and press B. I just heard... for... possibly the quality of the stream, the sake of the quality of the stream. No, actually, no. Actually, I cannot. That just occurred to me. I can't access with my current. I'd have to open up. Yeah, I with the Super NES pad, I cannot open up the Virtual Console menu, so we're stuck playing 100% legit. Oh, it's gonna let me through here. Okay, I do know that there's some shenanigans waiting for me in that room, though. I do know that. Wait, can I... Is there a save room nearby? I used the Elgato. Okay, there's a save room. I was worried for a while. I was worried for a minute. Let's see if we can get through this sector and before we call it. But yeah, I've been very fortunate in that for me, like, I got the Elgato HD60S and I basically plugged it in and forgot it existed. My whole experience with it has been true plug and play. I just swap out the HDMI cable for the game. I barely have to touch the device itself. I don't have to worry about it. I haven't had to worry about it or think about it or replace it or troubleshoot it. The only times I ever thought I was having trouble with it, it turns out something silly, like I just had the monitor in the wrong feed and I couldn't see it or something like that. Alright. So, yeah, I guess Super Missile data... You know what I forgot? I forgot that in Super Metroid, aren't the Super Missiles a separate type of missile? But in this missile, in this game, they just stack on top of the regular missiles. Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that the Super Missile stacks on top of the normal missile in this game. So I know there's a boss upstairs in that room. A boss that caused my fair share of resets back in the day. So super missile downloaded. Okay. What do I have to do to trigger the boss to appear? Do I have enough running room here? I guess I have to go back to trigger it. Okay, there we go. I have to see that the way clear has been blocked. So now that I've gotten this far, I'm going to save again so I don't have to redo that section. Yeah, it's really been seamless technology in terms of, yeah, the HD60S. I mean, Elgato, all their stuff I've used so far has been really great to use. Both the Stream Deck, which is only my really second stream with. I had it up before, but all I could do is start the recording. But hold on, I just need to okay. Let's take on BOX. This thing is called Box. Oh my goodness. Just immediately. Oh man. This guy looks like he almost, I mean, you could say that of Nightmare too. Some of these mech enemies almost remind me of something that you'd expect to come out of the Metal Slug games. Man, I'd be shocked if I clear this boss this run because man, I'm just getting wrecked even trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm just getting jacked up. Yeah, I'm panicking, and that's making me have to relearn the controls. Can I deal at least the slightest bit of damage to him? Yeah, I couldn't even find the weak point. I know, like the top opens up and missiles come out. No, I believe this robot has biological elements to its computing system, so I guess that's what the explanation as to how and why the X is controlling it. Yeah, but I forgot how good they were with putting the save rooms right next to the bosses. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, it's like I... Oh my gosh, I shoot... I keep have to remember, I have to press X on this controller. Yeah, for some reason I just keep trying to press irrelevant buttons. Yeah, what am I supposed to do here? I forgot how to damage him. Yeah, because it's not... Yeah, I'm getting direct hits when the thing opens. Okay, there we... Hey, we made progress. We actually dealt any amount of damage to him. We just have to remember... Like... How exact is his hitbox? Because I'm shooting straight down and it's not... I don't understand... Yeah, I'm shooting straight down. I remember his hitbox, the thing being... The core opens, you shoot down into the center of it. Oh. Oh, you just shoot down in general? Okay. Yeah, let's get through this boss and get to the front door of the next section. Maybe, and then we'll call it. No, that's the wrong way. That's where I got those goodies that I'm using now. Now it's good to remember that this guy is his fire bombs cannot. Yeah, his fire bombs don't go far enough. If you're right above the bomb when it explodes. Yeah, that's the safe point. So the bombs run up high enough to hit you. It's not doing a good job delineating. Okay. Hey, we actually... I don't know, it feels so strange because... So you do have to shoot down? Okay, stand in the center. So only... So when it's open, that's when it's actually not vulnerable. A tad counterintuitive, but see, look, there's the brain. I didn't realize that before. I'd never noticed there's like a brain inside it that's like pulsating. So it's nearly wrecked at this point. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't destroy it completely. It comes back later in the game. Can I... Yeah, I could... save right up? Oh, oh, I see. That's... Oh, no. Okay, I had to go a little further. I would say, like, what, the wreckage filled the whole area with sand, I can't go back to that save room? Because they never I don't think they ever destroy save rooms as a plot or progression or guidance element. Or else I feel like it's really interesting how much I remember of this, yet how much of it is genuinely like a fresh experience. And there are a lot of games that I specifically put off playing again for multiple years, specifically with the prospect of if I stream it again, it'll be like as close to being brand new on it as I can get. Alright. So we can... That data room, I guess, is permanently off limits. Can we? Yeah. Hey, it opened... What was that? Oh. So I know. Okay, now I see. Oh wait, I have to master the Shine Spark again. Oh wait. Yeah, I forgot that the the super missiles aren't a stacking upgrade in this. So that lamp, as soon as I get to that second lamp, that's when I do the crouch. Or actually, it would be easier if I do it in the same direction I was heading in, maybe? No, I don't have quite enough space to get it that way. No. Oh, I need the screw attack for that. Now I have to fight all those enemies over again. Because I went down for 1 second. This is one of the few games in the Metroid series where the respawning enemies have a somewhat legitimate in-universe explanation, because they're all X-parasites. So more keep swooping in to repopulate the area. Do I? Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. This whole... Oh! This whole area is destructible. Alright, this makes a lot more sense now. It's just made a lot more sense. I thought only those 2 holes I shot were the destructible parts. So if I... Okay, so I have to... Yeah, if I hit the diagonal up and left once I'm shined up. Okay. It's almost like inputting a code. Okay, I couldn't quite... Yeah, I couldn't quite do it. Yeah, we're gonna get to the front door of the next section. And then, end the stream there. Because in general, I was gonna end on the hour. No, I have to hold... Do I have to hold the button while I hit the diagonal? Is that the way to, Yeah, well, you're gonna see me at least once a week, if not twice a week. Like, every other week, I might... Oh my god, how did I do it that one time? Yeah. So once you're... Yeah, just jump. I'll just try jumping. You know what? I think my main problem is just from instinct of other games, I'm holding down Y as though there's an actual run button. I think that's a huge part of my problem. Oh no, that... So if I jumped and I zoomed out of it. So if I hit... Okay, so that's it. I just had to be further along. Okay, so I hit down. I just hit down it. Oh yeah, okay, I did the thing where I was doggone trying to... yeah, if I was able to come out of that on the spot. No, I don't want to... Alright. He's already playing no... He already went to do No Death Kirby's Adventure. I know he said he was going to. I didn't know if he was already going to go and do it. So bless him. I might have to go give him a raid after this. So if I just... So as soon as he goes hyper mode... when I come out of it, it doesn't... I can't reliably jump from the spot where I'm intending to do the So let's... I think I'm getting a little better at this. No, the problem there... I have to... I don't have to hit back to stop myself. I have to hit down. Oh, you know what? I think I have to do it from here. That's the only way this can make sense to me. Yeah, maybe, even. And by the way, just for those watching, sdsh.com is not my personal website. That he's using that as shorthand for supertrainstationh.com, which is my actual website. So, I'm gonna spend 5 more minutes on this. And if I can't do it... Like, why does it only let me come out of the shine spot? It only lets me come out of the standing position when I'm too far away. There we go. We got it. We got it. Alright. That will make future... yeah, that took like 6 minutes, but that probably will save me at least a couple of deaths on upcoming bosses. So the time will pay... It'll pay in dividends. Okay, come on. Don't get up. There we go. There we go. This is a passage we already saw the other side of. Alright. And we made it. Alright. Hold on. There we go. Alright. So all we gotta do now, we just gotta save. And... Alright. You just hit the save. Actually, no. Let's go to the front door of the next room. Because we'll get a little plot info, and we get to the next... Oh, yeah, let's go to the front door of the next zone. Unless something else goes on here. I see that you encountered a rogue security robot. You may destroy it if you meet it again. Your safety is vital. But as to your brief, Level 2 security locks are released, so Sectors 5 and 6 are open. That means those sectors have likely been infiltrated by X. They are much harder to stop than we initially suspected. Sector 5, ARC, is Sub-Zero. You are still susceptible to cold from the vaccine side effects, so you'll take damage if you even set foot inside there. Avoid Sector 5 for now, but in the meantime, HQ is working on data to adjust your suit for extreme temperatures. Once we have the transmission, you could download it, but the X have destroyed all the data rooms you have used so far. I no longer doubt their capacity for critical thought. You'll have to use the data room in the night habitat. Sector 6, knock. Go to Sector 6 and access a security room there. Is your objective clear? Yeah, let's go to Sector 6 so we don't have to waste time getting started next stream. Like, this is like the main sort of motif of the Metroid Fusion soundtrack. Incoming dispatch. Oh, yeah. This is where the creepy stuff starts. Like this conspiracy stuff, shady dealings, things. Does Samus suspect anything? No, I do not think so. Good. Monitor her closely. Affirmative. Out. Alright. So we want to go to... Is this... We're going to... No, we're going to the left. That's the way to the cold area. We want to go to the nocturnal environment. Oh wow, I never got the I never got her on the elevator with the Shine Spark stuff activated. Sector 6, knock. So we'll get the plot dump here. We might do a refresher on this, go into this room again and reconfirm the mission. So it's not playing this again until the day after tomorrow. The various suit data is here from HQ, ready to download. Get moving to a data room, but there's a problem. X from the Sub-Zero sector are in Sector 6, knock. And I'm just not going to say, I'm not going to say the abbreviations for them anymore. They've been changed by the cold. If you absorb one, you'll be frozen from within. This seems like a deliberate tactic. Once you download the various suit modification, you'll be out of danger. Just be extremely careful until then. The knock data room is here. Remember, avoid the blue X. Use your beam to stun them in order to get by. Is your objective clear? I forgot that there were blue X's that you couldn't absorb. I'm going to try to beat this before I get to Metroid Dread, Serial Walrus. I didn't realize Metroid Dread was coming so soon. It's possible, at the rate we're going, it's possible I could beat this before I get to Metroid Dread now. Okay. There we go. So, I will be back on Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for now, I'm going to send you over to Mecha Kong. He's following through on his idea before that he mentioned while he was in chat to do perfect runs of Kirby's Adventure. So let's go see what he's up to. So that'll be it for now, and thank you very much for watching.